Good evening and welcome to another exciting show. And our guests will be arriving a little later. So you've got me to deal with just for the first 10 minutes or so, or half an hour or whatever. So it's just me, uh, Fred the plant at the back. He's doing very well. And Jeremy the ironing board as well. So there we go. And I think that Survival Steve was going to come on, but he's a little bit later tonight. Nathan, either Nathan Allenby or Nathan Lucius may be on soon. But first of all, let's have a look and see who's in chat. And we've got Aunt Sally. Hello, Aunt Sally. Hello, lovely people. And she says, a two finger salute and raspberry to the bankers, please. That's with a B, isn't it? Yes. Or as well. Yes, I'd agree with that, especially the Rothschilds as well. I would say that, yes. And that's a very good choice, that is. And we've got Alice Gorgeous in chat. And we've got, hang on, what's happening? Whoops, hang on a minute. Hang on, I pressed the wrong bleeping button, didn't I? Here we are. There we go. We got Asperger's as fudge. We've got Sue Sparkle. I don't know what's happened to Alice Gorgeous. Oh, here she is. Hello. And we've got Alice Gorgeous as well. We got the Urban Stealth Campervan Man. Hello, mate. How you going? I hope you're okay. I haven't seen you on your blog for a long time. So I hope everything's fine. And I hope you've got another camper van. So there we go. Because between you and I'm actually thinking of converting a van as well. Just for sort of weekends and things, you know. And we've got Mark Anthony. Hello, Mark. And we've got way too chipper for Bundy, Eric. Yeah, well, I'll be happy, you know, that's it. And we've got DJ B2. We've got Blu-ray 144. Here we go. And we got and thank you very much, Blow Outstanding Raspberries. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping to do, I keep talking about this film I'm going to do at Waltham Abbey. But it's been foggy, cold, peeing with rain, and I want to choose a nice sunny day. But I want to do it before the tourist season, before too many tourists there. So, I want to show the, go across the line, which goes from east to west. This is the Meridian line, which goes through Waltham Abbey. So I'll cross that, see Harold's grave, and have a shifty inside, you know. And you never know, I might film knocking on Miles's door to his shop. So that'd be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Anyway, tonight's show is called Dosh, the folding stuff. And I was hoping to get the F in farmer on. That's what he has to call himself, the F space in farmer. I don't know whether he's coming on later or not. Paul English is due on a little bit later as well, so we'll see how that goes. But I often speak about government and my belief that we could do without governments. And there was a very interesting chat on the internet, and I'll show it now, with a chap called Graham Moore. Now, I don't want to take everything out of context because this is just the end of his talk, but it's a very interesting talk, what he says about England. And hang on a minute, we've got his Royal Hanorak on. Good evening, Transport Minister. Good evening, sir. Are you there? No, he's still got his microphone off. But
the show, good evening, Chris. I've still got mute on.
Yes, it does help actually. Although you could come on and do sign language, you know, sort of, all that sort of stuff, you know.
They're both offensive.
But we got Hereditors Get Fucked says convert the van, but don't cut its tailpipe off or give it Red X. What's wrong with Red X?
What is Red X?
Oh, Red X is an additive that you put to fuel, and I've got a well. Some people say it's put waste of time. Some people say it isn't. I used to get it free when I was a little kid. Um, my dad used to drive into a garage. He said, "I wouldn't put that in my petrol tank," and used to have a can on the side. And when you pulled into a petrol station, you could go and give a squirt of Red X in your fuel, free of charge. But no, you don't don't get it free
What
anymore.
did it actually do? What was it meant to do? Make it more
Uh,
efficient.
Yeah, I mean, what it does, I mean, cars now, they're all fuel injected. You don't really have carburetors in cars now. And it cleans the piston heads and things like that, you know. So, but it's a bit like the motorcyclists who was going along and suddenly his motorcycle went bang and it cantered to a halt outside a pub, you see. And he thought, oh, I might as well repair it. So there he is, hands and face all covered in grease and muck and trying to repair his motorcycle. And a drunk comes out and says, "What's the matter with your motorbike?" And bloke says, "Piston broke." He says, "So am I." Sorry.
Interestingly, we must be gone about 3 weeks now, and we haven't had a fart joke in all that
No,
time.
no, and the Waltham Abbey. I don't want to give too much away, but there might be a fart joke in the Waltham Abbey film that I'm doing. Seriously.
No, I can't believe that.
And Alice Gorgeous says, "My dad was piston broke." Yeah. Anyway, we'll try and show this chap called what's his name, Graham Moore. So on we go. See if I can do my presentation thing. I'll press that button, and I'll press that button, and I'll press share, and then I start it off. And hang on, I'll put it on full screen
Is he putting?
and
Is he thinking?
screen.
He's about to pick a bogey.
How things have got as bad as what they are today. I can show people that if you was to annul, make void, abolish, right, not repeal. Repeal is a really bad word, right? You need to abolish, annul these laws so they've never existed, and then you will start to put things back as they are. But you would need to purge these judges, and a lot of these judges are Jewish. I think when the Supreme Court come into being, and it shouldn't have done, with the Constitutional Reform Act of 2005, I believe 7 of, I think, 11 judges were Jewish.
Okay, let me ask you one more question then. Now, I could go on for hours picking your brain on this, but I've got a feeling that the comment section is going to blow up completely, and I will take the public's comments, concerns, arguments, whatever it may be, and say to you, come back in a year's time and we'll do this again and see where we're at, because it has been fascinating. But the final question is, how do we make England a great, safe country to live in again? How would you resolve the problem that we're in at the moment?
The easiest way to do it is to void the Acts of Union, abolish the Acts of Union, and take England back to its original governance, because we was originally a confederacy. That means the individual counties and shires govern themselves with a parliament, which was the English Parliament, currently non-existent. Scotland would govern itself. Wales was part of England from 1536, and it just happened to be a Welsh king that did that. Obviously, they're having a go at the English. It really wasn't to do with us. It was the way of history. So how would you do that? We still have the right to keep and bear arms as Protestants. Are you Protestant or Catholic? Or you can say
I'm
no
none.
answer.
Oh,
Right.
no, I'm nothing.
Well, so if you was a Protestant,
And I'd always answer anyway.
right? Well, if you was a Protestant, technically even a Catholic, because we allowed them.
Shall I tell you something? I don't even really know the difference between the two, if I'm being completely honest. I've paid so little attention to religion over the years. The only one I know a fair bit about is Islam, because it's all I ever hear and see.
Yeah. So why I say the Constitution is the solution, and this always used to annoy me about Tommy Robinson, right? He never mentions the English Bill of Rights. The English Bill of Rights, which is constitutional law, it is a settlement to the people. The Crown could only become the Crown because of that settlement, right? Sharia is unlawful. It is banned in England. Right? It's the British that have allowed it to start to flourish, not the English. It is banned under English constitutional law. So is Jewish law. So is any other form of religious law. So if you don't like religious fanatics, the best constitution in the world resides here in England. It's just not being enforced, right? So the second argument is, if you're a Protestant, and I know many Protestants because I am one, you have the right to keep and bear arms. That means any firearm, right? As long as you are a Protestant and a Christian, right, what I would do is say, we are going to rearm this nation. And if there's any problem with these people that are doing all this stuff in the background, whether it be Sharia, whether it be Islam or whatever, we had militias. You would use the veterans to train up the militias, right? Which technically can still exist in this country. That's where America got it from. Got it from England, not from the British, from the English. So you would return back to the Constitution of England. And again, what's known as WASP, which is White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, right? If you go and say that in America, they understand exactly who you are. And they go, right, spot on, right? And it doesn't mean you're having a go at Catholics, because normal, everyday, moderate Catholics are just like us. They're not bad people. Moderate, normal, everyday Jews are just like us. They're normal people. They just want to live their lives. They don't want all this nonsense in the background, right? And that's how you can return. But, and again, the only person I can say that's coming close is Rupert Lowe. But you need to get rid of at least 10 million people. But just to make sure your audience is aware, because I'm always asked this, right? We've got black members. In fact, I've got one or two friends, one of them a black geezer from South London, the Old Kent Road. He is of Jamaican descent, right? He's got dreads down to his arse, right? He's one of the loveliest fellas you've ever met in your life. And I always say, there's certain people out there, I always say to him, he's more English than you as a Brit, right? He believes in England. You don't, right? He is I'd have him standing with me all day long, not you.
That's one of Tommy Robinson's arguments when he's being challenged about ethnicity and who's British and who's not and who should stay and who should go, remigration. But I'm going to stop there because there's a whole separate podcast with you, and I'd like to know what the audience think of that.
Right. Now, I took that slightly out. You've got to see the whole thing because it sounds as if he is anti-Semolina, which he isn't. He's only talking about Zionists. So when I started at the wrong time. But what are you saying about the right to bear arms? Now, I wonder in chat what you think about that. I have now my colours to the mast. I was very much a pacifist. But Survival Steve proved me wrong. So, Anorak, what's your view on the right to bear arms?
I guess I have two different ways of looking at this. One of them is that if we're trying to work our way under natural law, then we should, and we're all supposed to be living in peace, then the carrying of guns would go against that. Obviously, if we're trying to protect ourselves from the enemy that is in charge at the moment as it stands, then yes, I see from both sides. I don't think we need a world where we have guns to shoot people just for the sake of it. If it's there for protection, then yes, I understand that. But if we're aiming for a world where we're all at peace with each other, then at that point we wouldn't need them.
Yes, but he's talking about a militia because the part that I didn't get from that, I mean, I've got, first of all, Nathan in chat says, is this a party political broadcast? No, I just happened to leave that accidentally in. I've got no time for Rupert Lowe. My attitude is that he's a politician and he's a puppet like the rest of them. He's another Tony Blair, Margaret Thatcher. He's telling people what they want to hear. And the real Prime Minister of the Great Britain is the Director of the Bank of England. And the real controller of England is the usury scammers. That's it. So I don't vote. So I left that in, but I assure you, it's not. It wasn't a party political
Yeah.
broadcast.
Yeah,
Got no time for it.
so I didn't vote.
Because
I haven't voted for years. I just think it's a complete waste of ink and time.
that's right.
'Cause
I'm
they
sorry if
know
that.
who the-
That's right. I'm sorry if that came over. That came over wrong, and people were thinking, "Oh, it's a party political broadcast." No, it wasn't. No, I don't vote. I don't vote at all, because, as I say, I realise that they're all puppets. That,
Because
that, 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 you know.
they know who they want in. I mean, we talked about this before. When I think it was when Biden came in,
Mm-hmm.
or when it was announced or our election, one of the two elections. It might have been our election last year or the year before. Was on the 4th of July, which is 47, and government
Yeah.
equals 47. So it's not by accident. They know who they want in. They just want to see if the us lot all go out and waste our time filling in a vote, because at the end of the day, the voting slip isn't you anyway. It's your straw man,
Mm.
presumably. It's in capital
Well, that's
letters
right.
or in black ink.
Well, that's right. But also, what you got to think of is that supposing we were the psychos, the demonic psychos, because I think they are demonic, that want to screw people left, right, and centre in more ways than one, financially and that, you would make out to those people that they're free. So you say, well, let's think of a good word. Democracy, that's a good one, yeah. But you've got to make sure that every political party that comes in, if you're running a usury scam, is usury friendly. And and if they're not, well, you don't want that. So that's the thing. And anybody that isn't usury friendly, well, that's it. Goodbye. Now, Arsbergers as Fudge just says, I've met Graham, so have I. Seemed like a genuine bloke. Be a great guest on your show, Chris. Yes, I've asked, but hasn't been taken up. So yes, I have asked several times, and also know somebody that's good friends with him who could get me in. But no, I don't think Graham wants to. I'm not sure whether he wants to come on the show or not. Maybe it's my smutty gags he doesn't like. I don't know, but you can only ask, can't you?
Offended by fart jokes.
Yeah, it's the fart jokes, probably. But I just don't know. And Nathan says all elections are fixed. The whole system is designed to be controlled and corrupt. No such thing as democracy. I agree with you.
Yeah,
There isn't.
totally.
It's now Aunt Sally's come up with a good one. I've heard all this talk before about the Constitution, etc. Not one of them will tell you any practical ways to enforce it. If one was to bear arms, one would get nicked by the police. That's right, but apparently Graham has got people off from it. But that's the thing. Now,
And yet the
Mark,
police are allowed to carry guns, and they're the biggest thugs out there.
I agree with you. They call them the filth, and I think it's true. I think they're bullies, basically, most of them. Why would you want to do a job where you're bullying people around? Because you're not catching criminals. Now, Mark Anthony says, if voting made any difference, they wouldn't let us do it. That's correct. They wouldn't. Yeah.
I was about to say it's two cheeks of the same arse, isn't it? And basically, it's the illusion of choice.
Well, look at Trump. He's setting up a peace thing. Peace? What a load of bullshit. Whilst they're bombing the shit out of Iran.
Yeah.
Come on, but one thing I was going to say that, again, not a party political broadcast, that he has a good idea of. Before we can do away with government, I think it has to be major stepping stones. We can't do it overnight. It just can't happen. If it happened overnight, it would be absolute blatant chaos. But this idea that we have regions, so there's no government as such, but each region governs itself, and you have a militia in that
Isn't that a
government.
bit like in America now, where you
Mm.
have different states have different rules, and which must get very confusing if you're traveling like from one side of the country to the other. In some town or some states, like for example, the speed limit might be 50, and then the next state it's 75, and
That's
then
it,
the next
yeah.
one it's must get
Mm.
must get very confusing. Although I suppose in some respects we are governed locally as well, because you have your local
Mm.
council, don't you?
Well, that's
Apparently, it
right.
does the bins and repairs the roads. or
yeah,
not,
but
as the case may
or
be.
not. Well, no, actually, I found out this is where it gets complicated. The council are responsible for where I live. I know it's the same everywhere else for repairing the footpaths, but not the roads. That is
Oh, right.
county council. Yeah. So it's Hertford Council that repairs the roads, and it's the Broxburn Council, which is my local council, which repairs the footpaths. So I mean, and I think they made it confusing deliberately.
Do you know something? That one of that links in because I'm quite interested in the legal world, and what I mean by that is understanding it. So I know obviously things like street names are in capital letters, which is the admiralty world, the legal world, and I wonder if that's why, because the footpaths aren't part of that world. That's our world, but the roads are deemed as shipping lanes, basically a bit like
That's a
canals and
good
so on.
point. That's an
So that
interesting
might
point.
explain why one council does the footpaths and a different council is responsible for the actual roads themselves, because the roads are deemed as highways. Because so, like for example, a roundabout, another name for a roundabout is an island. And what's an island?
That's a
Surrounded
good
by
point.
water.
Yeah, I've never thought of that. But mind you, talk about roundabouts. There's a bloke on YouTube that makes a point of camping on roundabouts, not the small ones, but the ones with trees on them and that. And
I was
he
going to say,
said,
he needs to try that one in Hemel Hempstead then.
bleed now. You get the flat rate whilst he's camping, being driven over. But no, he actually goes on, and there was one opposite a police station, and there's all these trees and that, and he just go. And he said, "You not noticed because that would be the last place anybody would think that you'd be camping, and that's where he goes."
I'm not sure I would have been there overnight when some yobbo's driving down at 80 miles an hour and misjudges it.
That's right. Well, Alice Gorgeous has come up with a good one. Now, none of the talking heads can help us. Graham is encouraging civil war. I don't know. Super prison for any idiot that takes that particular bit of his advice. I don't think I can't speak for him. I don't know. And now this is interesting. Mike Mantis says Graham Moore was recently interviewed by Liam Tufts. That might have been the interview. I don't know. And Liam is a big Tommy Dooflop supporter. Oh, bloody hell. Not Tommy Robinson. Oh, can't stand that man. But I didn't know that. I didn't know. Quite honestly, he doesn't even hide the fact that he's working for someone else from a Middle Eastern country that we're not allowed to criticise, that likes dropping bombs on other countries. In fact, it's very good at it, actually. It's I think most countries have regional sports, like Britain, it's football, but that country is bombing the shit out of other countries.
Yes.
You know, so yes, and there they are now, friends. Now, hang on, there's Patrick. Good afternoon, Patrick, our cheese correspondent, or cheese ambassador. Hello, mate. How you going? And now, Aunt Sally says an interesting one. I wouldn't trust Graham Moore as far as I could throw him. I have lots of reasons. Perhaps one of the reasons why he doesn't come on the show.
Good. That's a good reason.
Yeah.
It might be. Reason. It probably because I saw him once. I used to be in Stand in the Park, and he came along because the bloke who ran it, the nice bloke who we didn't really rate it, but he sort of started it. I'm still friends with him, and I met Graham, and you know, he was loads of people around, and I think I sent him an email and I never got a reply. And I sent him another email and I never got a reply. Then I asked this chap who knows him, and he just died of death. And then asked him again, and so I actually think there is a reason. So there we go. And Alice Gorgeous says, "Put another way, Eric, how many people would trust you? Would you trust with a gun?" Yes. Well, he didn't have a gun with him when I met him.
So that's the thing, though, isn't it? I suppose the idea of bearing arms. I mean, at what point do you start doing that? Because would you give it to someone who's medicated up on, I don't know, night nurse or what other?
If they're taking 50 million tablets a day,
would you trust them with a gun?
My question is, what reason would you have for using a gun? Now, that's the first question you ask,
Hmm.
and then it's like, well, what do you really need one for anyway? It's not
Exactly,
common
yeah.
That's right.
here. You know, we're said to have the Second Amendment, but it's not common to see people walking around with guns. There's no real purpose for it. The most you'll see people here in Wisconsin walking around with a gun is during deer hunting season, rifle season. And you'll
But
see it.
when they go to buy a gun, do they get asked questions like this? Like, are you insane,
Yeah.
or are you
Well,
about to go and
no,
shoot
they do a
someone?
background check. They send it off to the FBI, I believe, and they do a background check, and then it comes back days later, and then they're verified to be able to purchase. I'm not sure. I've never bought a gun.
Really? Because
Only
I've always,
inherited.
really, I was brought up anti-gun because of what my dad saw during the war, and of course I had
Right.
two parents that had was quite shell shock, but it's a post-traumatic stress disorder. So I was brought up very much a pacifist, and I was, because my dad said if I ever have a son, I'll never put a gun in his hand after what he saw during the war. So I was brought up without aggressive toys and things like that. So I have a very sort of, it sounds a bit lefty, doesn't it? It sounds a
Yeah,
bit
it
sort
does.
of, but I assure you it wasn't. It's not. But no, I mean, I've come round a lot.
Well, you'd be in a
'cause
different circumstance if you had
that's right.
property. If your father had property and
Would you-
woods, forests to go hunting in, it'd be a different situation.
Well, that's it. And I mean, my attitude now, I mean, the idea of a militia, I mean, the Swiss have got a militia. And the idea was sort of what came over to the States. But with the Swiss militia, every man up to the age of 50 has to do 2 weeks, I think, every year or something like that in the army. And what they do is you go into not necessarily army, the forces. So if you've got a hobby, there's one bloke who likes pigeons, so he's a member of a group that because Swiss are one of very few armies that still use pigeons, carrier pigeons, and they have rifle clubs. So it's more like a sort of it's not like conscription or drafting people. It's a very different attitude.
But that's because they're neutral. Typically, that's in the past anyway. I don't know about now. They're pretty much part of NATO as it goes, but they were neutral. Well, they're not. But
I don't think they are.
They're not, but effectively they are, because they don't protest what's going on. They're part of the economic bloc.
That's right.
Creates this war.
Yeah.
So I think the Swiss, they actually train them on artillery, heavy artillery, and they practice that. Every man does, and they're issued a rifle by the government.
That's right.
Or a piece. I don't know what exactly they're issued, but that's what I've heard.
They can walk along, because I've seen photographs of people walking along in the high street with a rifle snug over them.
Sure.
And nobody bats an eyelid.
You see that in Texas.
Yeah, I mean,
that's open carry, they call that.
Mike Mantis says the Swiss are all armed, yet they aren't massacring each other every other week. Well, that's because they are trained, and I think with a militia, which should not be compulsory, they would make sure that anybody that has a gun in their hand obviously is sane and well trained. I'm not sure. I mean, we were very famous in this country for having unarmed police, and I don't like to see the police armed, but they are now.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a reason.
That's right.
Ideally.
And to me, a gun is a tool, like a knife is a tool. You use a knife to carve things and all kinds of things like that. And a gun is a tool to be used as a tool, not necessarily for killing people. You know,
killing wild animals and beasts that might kill you.
Yeah. Sorry, you're going to say.
I'll say if it's used as a very, very, very last resort, if everything else has been, every other avenue has been looked at first, then maybe yes. But I think whilst people can talk and get themselves out of, or explain what they're doing, etc., and that's where it should end. And I'm not sure that killing each other is the answer, because that's what the elite like to do, isn't it? But they like to kill us.
Well, I'm against all form of violence because it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't prove anything. It's 'cause it's not who's won; it's who's left. That's really who remains. But the fact is that when I see these pictures of, it doesn't matter whether it's Iran or Tel Aviv or God knows where, when I see these explosions going off and buildings being hit by rockets and things like that, my feelings are for the innocent people in those buildings or nearby
Yeah.
who are going to, who once that's out of the news, they still suffer afterwards. It might be physical, it might be mental damage, or they
But then,
might be severely injured.
what we see is that actually legit, or is it staged? And the reason why I asked that is because I was looking at on the BBC News website yesterday, the day before, just for a laugh more than anything else, and
Mm.
it showed a picture of what was presumably was somewhere in Iran with something in the distance with loads of smoke coming off it, and in the foreground were four people, and one of them was dressed in his best suit. Now, did he say to his wife in the morning? It says, "They've just blown up half of our city, but you know something?
Yeah.
I'm going to put my best suit on to go out there." It's, I don't
Well,
know.
I'd be
It's
that guy. I'd be, hey, if
Yeah.
half my city were blown up. Hey, I'm putting my Sunday best on, and I'm out of here.
It's going to have a quick shifty, yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But I think that the big problem. I mean, I think we used to have a militia in this country before the
You do.
Normans.
It's called the British. It's called the British Army.
Yeah, but Graham
Technically,
Moore is
technically
talking
all
about the
armies are
English.
militia. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're getting at, but it's,
But we did, and the thing is, because did you know that almost every male is breaking the law in this country, including me, including the police, and that is, it's still on the books that every male over the age of, I think it's 10, has got to practice the longbow or the war bow every Sunday for so many hours. Seriously, I haven't bought my longbow out for a long time because I ain't got one. But that's true. So do you reckon we should hand ourselves in? Paul and myself, we go to the police.
do.
Sorry, but I'm
do.
practicing my longbow this Sunday, so I
Does,
can't hand
does
myself
a
in.
dicky bow count?
Oh, that could, yeah, you have a ticket or elastic band. But no, I think that it's the. You see, I'm in a difficult position here because part of me says, I mean, I'm against capital punishment. I'm against hanging and things like that. I'm even against prisons. Sounds bloody lefty, doesn't it? That does. I'm not. But, I think that putting people on islands is probably about the best idea. Just say, "I'll piss off going to an island." I really do think that's better than prison. It's cheaper as well. They look after themselves, don't they? They have to grow their own vegetables and things.
Well, when we look at prisons are. This goes back to our straw man, doesn't it? Because
yeah.
it isn't actually the individual serves a sentence, but it's on the back of representing the straw man. I know I keep mentioning the straw man, but that's what it ultimately leads to because it's the legal world. So you're in prison representing this fiction, this birth certificate that never exists.
Well, that's it. But I mean, what gets me is that if someone goes wacky doo doo and is a mass murderer, well, all right, you lock them up in a lunatic asylum because they're bonkers. But if someone, I don't know, steals a car, a youth steals a car, well, in the biblical days, although they didn't have cars then, or they might have done, who knows? But you would have to pay the victim back plus
satisfaction.
interest. Yeah, and that sounds far better. Because it's not a punishment. You have put someone out, so you've got to pay them back. And I don't think they had prisons as such. You probably know more about this, Patrick. Did they in biblical days? Did they have prisons in those days? I know the Romans did.
You're talking about the Old Testament type system
yeah.
that they would do. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had some very severe punishments for crimes.
Or cutting your hands off and
stoning people to death for their debauched ways. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Which isn't good, and it's not.
No.
It's not
cruel.
fair. It's cruel. I mean, it was fair at the time, I suppose, as a punishment, but
Well, it's
because
all
you
brutal,
had a
isn't
different
it?
circumstance.
Yeah,
You
but
didn't
like,
have the civilization that we have now.
well, that's right.
It was
Like
more,
attracts like, doesn't it? I
yeah.
mean, this is why I'm totally against capital punishment, because I think like does attract like, and anybody that's a mass murderer, psychopath, again, you shove him on a bloody island where he can mix with his own or her own or whatever. I mean, this is the thing.
Well, that comes back to what you were saying about that. Are people in prison because they've done something really bad, i.e., killed someone, or are they in prison because of something that relates back to what I keep saying about the legal world, i.e., if someone's nicked a car, that's potentially ego-driven. You know, somebody's got a Porsche and somebody else really wants that, so they go and steal it. That's that's the society that we are forced into at the moment, isn't it? I suppose where somebody's better off than somebody else, whereas we should all be equal. And if we're all equal, I suspect we wouldn't even need prisons because
That's
we'll be
right.
Well,
equal.
the question then is how do we become equal if we're not? If we're not right at
Well,
the
we're not
moment, we're
equal.
not. Yeah.
People are not equal because we're born in different cultures, different beliefs. And I think it's recognises our differences because everybody's a one-off that makes life interesting, and respect for other people. That's really what is lacking in life, because what happens? These lefties and people like that are trying to put everybody into a category. You're a this, you're a that. You know, you're a this if you say that. You're a this if you say this. No, I think I mean, that's how they destroy open communication by putting people into pigeonholes. I don't like putting people into pigeonholes. I think again we got to. This is why I don't like government, because it pigeonholes people. We've got to look at individuality and respect individuality. And as long as you
Well,
do no harm to anybody else, I ain't got a problem with that.
but then again, we have this notion of property, and does the state own all of the land and the property, or does it belong to families? Does it belong to individuals? That's the
Well,
question.
well,
That's
that's
the big
it.
one.
And the state is trying to own the land and everything, and it did do after 1066. The Normans
I think it still
completely took
does,
us
doesn't
over.
it?
I
I
know
think
that before World War II, you had to pay a tax to the royalty for your house, and they
because if you
stopped
Sure,
it.
buy a
but
house, you
you were
own the bricks and mortar, but not the land it sits on.
That's right.
but you were
And
able to dwell there
yes,
without
and
much
did you
bother.
know that the royals own 1 foot below Canadian soil? So the Canadians only own 1 foot of soil below them, and below that is owned by the royals. So
How is that fair?
Is that where the sewers are?
yeah. But well, Mike Mantis said there's a bloke. Yes, his name's Sam. That got 2 years in prison for stickers. Yeah,
Oh, I remember that.
it's okay to be whatever. Well,
White.
white. Yeah, well, it's okay to be anything you want. So what? It's okay to
Well,
be
that's what the sticker said. That's
a
what I mean. But
Mongolian or
yeah.
whatever. It's okay to be whoever you want to be. But yeah, it's bonkers. Again, this is this putting people into categories and things like that. Why can't people be proud of who they are and what they are and what they do? That's it. But I think that um, this is why if you've got a leader, people abandon thinking. It's like, oh well, they can make the decisions for me. They can do what I want. And this
Well,
is
then,
what.
yeah. Why
Yeah.
not give all the property to the leader, and then he's in
Mm.
control of it, and you're just at his beck and call and whim, and that's what Canada has. It sounds like what you're saying, that
That's right. Well,
the royal family, the royal monarch owns the property. So what's the point?
precisely. Well, you're right. And Mike Mantis says apparently, this is Sam, was told that the truth isn't a defense. Truth isn't a
Truth.
defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard people say that, especially when it comes to the Holocaust denial laws that they're trying to implement in various countries. That the
Well,
truth
So,
isn't a defense. It's just the
Yeah.
state says that this happened, so it happened. Whether it really happened doesn't matter because it's the state saying it.
So I wonder if because they obviously bring the Bible out, don't they, in court and say,
Yep.
tell the truth, the whole truth. That must have been a bit confusing for him then.
Yes.
so?
Well, what do they do? Sort of, I don't know. Don't get the Bible and get something else and say you're here to tell a lie, a blatant lie, and swear by what? The devil or something? You know what I mean?
It's a strange society, strange world we're in at the moment, isn't it?
Bonkers. But I think what it's happening, I mean, Mike Mantis has come up with a good one here. He says, other groups are allowed to be proud of who they are. And it's like I said the other night, when the elite look over the barricades and they see the natives friendly with each other, it's time that the elite get worried. When they see the natives fighting with each other, they know they're safe. And that's what it's all about, really. It's to get the natives to fight against each other. So they're saying, well, you're this group, you're that group, you know, and this is
It
why
only
I
works
think
so well until the natives, vanquish their enemy, and then they're looking for new blood,
yes.
new property, and new conquest. Their ambition,
Yes.
and their lust for mastery comes out, and it's like, you're next. Yeah.
Well, Mark Mantis says, I was asked to swear on the Bible once. I said, little balls. But, yeah. Well, you know, but why swear? You know, I mean, I used to, when I was a kid, when they said someone swore, I used to think they swore at me. You're the effing this, you're the effing, you know. I used to actually believe that. Another thing, you see, when I was a kid, what my dad used to say, all those limousines they used to pull up at number 10, they take a lot of petrol. So I used to think that they used to just run the dignitaries to the end of 10 Downing Street, and the dignitaries would catch a bus because it's cheaper. That's what I thought. Serious, as a child, I used to think that. Oh, they're going to go by bus, you know. And Mark Anthony says, divide and conquer. It's as old as the hills. It's true.
It is, yeah.
It is divide and conquer, you know.
Divide how? How are we? How does it?
Well,
divide?
Look at what's happening. We've got loads of people coming over on dinghies, which you can't blame them for because they're being promised a land of milk and honey.
Yeah,
and they're being put into hotels.
And their places are being bombed out and they're dispossessed of their property.
Well, so we're told. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter.
But we can. Okay, so take it on face value. That's what's happening.
Barefoot Foreigner says, elites, we need better words. We are brainwashing ourselves. Yes, demonic psychopaths. Yeah, but they're demonic psychopaths. Full stop. And as I've said many times before, it doesn't matter what nationality, what religion they are. Couldn't give a shit. Could be black, white, pink, green with grey spots. I couldn't care. A demonic psychopath who's a predatory one, not all of them the same, but a predatory demonic psychopath are the ones that get into politics. And they're our enemy, as far as I'm concerned.
And they're the ones that should not be allowed to hold public office.
No, that's right. That's right. And I mean, the thing is that people have often said about different MPs, you know, why don't I get there's an MP that was kicked out, what's his name? I can't think of his name now.
Leicestershire.
Yes, right. Why don't I get him on? But I don't really want a politician on here because I don't want to be political. Even if they're ex-politicians, I don't want to be political at all. And I hope that Graham Moore thing didn't come over as being political.
How about Nick Griffin?
Yeah, because he's.
He's decent.
He's a decent
he's
guy.
Not really a politician anymore.
No.
I mean, he is in a sense, but not with any power or office.
We've got some good ideas what to call these elites or whatever. Evil pedivores. Now, that's an interesting one.
Oh.
Pedivores, yes. Now, the other one is deletes. Mike Manners says, that's gorgeous. Parasites is a better word.
Yeah.
Yes. And Mark Anthony says, Barefoot Forager, I agree. Parasites is a more accurate description.
How about murderers?
Yes, they are murderers.
To me, just like tells you everything. Everything else, you'll live after the trauma, but still, it's like you go and you murder somebody. That's like the worst. That's absolutely the worst.
Nathan's. That's right. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to switch it.
No,
Speak
go ahead.
across
Go
you.
ahead, Nathan.
Nathan said, Barefoot Fodder, I prefer PSE, psychopathic social engineers, which is how I refer to them in Fake Awake. That's right. Yes. And I think also, I think we need stepping stones to do away with government. And as I was saying, a militia could be a stepping stone. And it'd be nice to
Well,
get Steve on to see what his view of that is.
I think the social engineering part, that's spot on, and most people don't see that. They don't understand how social engineering works and manipulation, mind manipulation
Well, that's
controls
right.
people. Because you can easily get people to do what you want them to do by controlling their passions. Let's say you get them. That's like advertising the advertising industry is very good at that, because it caters to your gluttony or whatever you want. Like you
Oh,
want to be
yes.
this guy. You want and people envy that sort of thing, and they want to be better than the next person, so that you just hold out that carrot for people to
That's right.
follow, and they'll do it.
Well, that's what I meant earlier on when I was saying about the ego thing, and that we're all born equal. But obviously, that approach then changes. That sort of gets the "I'm better than you," which is I think that needs to go somehow. I don't know how we do it, but yeah, I think the trying to fight us against each other, because this individual's got that, so you need that, and like they do, like with celebrities, where the same with them. They get people to want to be like them, but they'll never be like them because we're decent and they're not.
Well, you're spot on there. But I mean, as I often said, I mean, I've got the greatest respect for people like Ethiopian long distance runners. They're just built to do that. We're all built for different things. Muhammad Ali is a person I'd like to have a meal with. Unfortunately, he's dead now. But I mean, when if it was possible to resurrect him, a very interesting fella. He spoke. I'm very interested in what he said, and very polite.
You're not interested in Mike Tyson?
Don't know much about him.
You don't know much. Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know. He'd be an interesting person to talk to.
He might give you a ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Suffer ring. I don't know what you just said. Now, Sam said, Mike Mantis, in Switzerland, soldiers can, if they ask permission, keep the weapon of the military service at home, but not the ammunition. Very useful. So I've got a gun, but it's not loaded. Press it as a flag that comes out. It says bang. Yeah.
Well, the Swiss are very ingenuitive, and they can create all sorts of watches and that sort of thing. I think they'd be able to make their own ammunition pretty easily if they wanted to.
What if that just applies to the army, or whether it applies to the Air Force as well? Can't take this tornado home with me then.
Yeah, why not? If they
Well,
can fly, let them fly.
But apparently, the Swiss. I mean, you look at what they make. Swiss Army knives are bloody good, aren't they? By Victorinox, and they used to sell them at airports. They lost, I think it was like 2/3 of their trade when they stopped selling them at airports. But schoolboys used to get them as presents in this country, Swiss Army knives, and they are bloody good quality. And did you know that they are actually, I don't think the human hand actually touches the manufacture of a Swiss Army knife. From the beginning to end, it's all done by a machine. It's quite something. The Swiss are bleeding clever. They really are. Now, Mark Anthony said, you would have to cover your ears if you had Mike Tyson over for dinner. Yes.
Yeah, you might bite them.
Yes, yeah.
Eat them for dinner.
And Alice Gould just looks on, I think, politicians, all of them. Yes, she's right there. But no, the fact of the matter is that tonight the show is supposed to be Dosh talking about money. Now, I was wondering whether Nathan Allenby would come back to talk about finance, because it's very interesting what he was talking about
Yeah,
last night.
I
But
heard that.
I've sent him a studio link, but I don't know where he's gone. He's not on. And I was hoping to get the F space in space farmer, the F in farmer on to talk about this BSV currency. But he's not come on either, so we're a little bit filling in.
I liked his notion that he had, though, of the small business creating their own sort of currency within the business and creating tabs for people that can't pay and pay it back, that kind of thing.
I like that idea.
And then, like you said, pay it forward, where you could pay it to a general fund for someone that can't afford it. That's a good idea too.
I mentioned this to Miles because he's got a shop in Waltham Abbey, and plug. And this is Dr. Miles Fleetwood, who sometimes can get dragged on this show sometimes, and talk about how to cure ailments and things like that. And it's homeopathic, well, not homeopathic, but natural medicine that puts people off because of the price. And it's a sad thing. If we had a natural national health service, the price would drop like a stone and it'd be very, very cheap. But it is cheap in relation to the Rockefeller oil-based medicines. I mean, it's surprising how you can get by on very cheap things. But I said to Miles, I said, well, it'd be nice, if someone comes in and you have a thing like on the tab. So if you buy some, I don't know, vitamin C tablets that are 10 quid, you say, right, I pay £20 and put £10 up on the notice board. So some poor sod comes in, he wants some tablets, he can take the £10 and that's it. And I think that's the way, because you notice all these governments and all the crooks all act on benevolence. Everything's benevolence. We're taxed because we give it to the underdog. Bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
The tax so they can give it to the 2% of them that make the laws.
Correct.
And they're all fighting to be part of that 2% out of however many thousands they are.
Well, you're spot on, because if the money really did go to benevolence, there'd be no such thing as homelessness, was there? We'd all be sort of middle class. Everybody be living in posh bungalows and things.
Well, we were talking earlier about the Bible, and I've been reading and learning about this fellow by the name of Orestes Bronson from back in the 1800s in America. He was considered one of the best thinkers in America at the time, and he was pointing out something in the Bible that's very interesting and in Christian civilization that's kept things going quite well up until the time of the American Revolution. And what he was against was what he thought was the most revolutionary idea that the Americans came up with in 1776 in the Constitution and in the laws in general that were created, was this idea of abolishing what was called primogeniture, inheritance. And what this did, and it was also called entail. What that did effectively is it made it so that inheriting property became to the point where it's at now, where the government can step in and take all of your assets because everybody's in debt and there's no protection of property. And it seems like what Jefferson was proposing was equal. What he was saying is that primogeniture means the inheritance goes to the firstborn son of the wife of the man that is the father of that son.
I agree.
And it's out of Deuteronomy chapter 21. And this is what Christian countries and monarchies used as the basis for inheritance for centuries. And to the extent that you still have a Christian monarchy in your country, that's what's kept the monarchy going. But the common plebeian it's been taken away and eroded to the point now where you have laws like in Canada, like you were saying, where the crown owns everything and nobody owns anything. It's the government owns one family.
It's communism.
Small family. Yeah, it's communism.
That's right. It's total communism. And before 1066, you could find a plot of land and farm it and you had no gentry over or anything like that. You could just farm it. If it's a wasteland, you could be perfectly okay. And it's only when the Normans came they brought in all these different laws and things.
But they
Uh,
still they still kept primogeniture. That was a
yes,
Christian. That was like of all the see in America we say we have these inalienable rights. Like they consider free speech, free religion, carrying a gun, the Second Amendment. These are in American terms, revolutionary terms, inalienable rights given by God. Well, that's man's law. That's their hearsay. They came along later. But according to God's law and what He proposed in the Bible, now Scripture, first you have to be able to believe in that's actually God's words. But what it said in primogeniture is that firstborn son. So when it came time to divide up the father his inheritance, because eventually, you have a family, you're gonna die. The head of the family is gonna die, and then what do? Well, according to Thomas Jefferson, he said everyone's equal. Everyone of the father's children, whether they're what's called legal bastards, which means that you're born out of wedlock, or you're everybody has an equal right to claim a share of the father's inheritance, which leads to all sorts of bickering and fights. I don't know if any of you have ever had to deal with inheritance, but you've heard of people bickering about that, and there's no set rules in the government. It's what happens is you have a will, and the will is whatever you determine it to be. So if you have a favorite child, you could leave all of your possessions to that favorite child if you wanted, under the revolutionary terms that Jefferson came up with. Or if you don't have a will, which is called dying in state, it means that every one of the heirs is equal, and it's all divided up in equal portions, however you can do that. But that's where the bickering and the fighting goes on, and there's never any sort of keeping the family intact. There's no reason to keep the family intact, because if anybody's able to get the inheritance, there's no reason to be nice to everybody. Because if you know who's going to inherit it, you're going to be nice to that person, and you're going to want them to grow up, to be well educated, to take care of what's been given them. But if it's just haphazard, whoever's the favorite son, or whoever, gets a small portion of it, nobody's going to care about that property. Nobody's going to care about carrying on the family name and the tradition and all of that sort of thing. And I think your country's taken that American spirit of revolution and put that into practice, and that's part of the reason you're feeling the pinch you are right now.
Yes, I mean, death tax and things like that. I mean, there's an old saying: where there's a will, there's relations, and you'll find relations popping out the woodwork that you never even knew existed. Things like that. Sort of, oh, it's great, Uncle. What's it? But Alice Gorgeous says, I'm having a hot chocolate in bed. What's happened to me? I'm like an old lady now. I like a continental roll in bed, actually.
Is there a
double
joke
meaning
there?
There might be an innuendo there. You never know. Now,
Not an incontinent roll.
Yeah. Oh, you're taking the piss again.
Sorry about that. My toilet does that all the time.
But no, I mean, when you think about money and things like that, I mean, I had a chappie on here once that upset quite a few people. He had this idea of I won't say it was. This was many years ago. He came on here and he was talking about this idea where you issue people money and they have to spend it within a certain time, otherwise they lose it. The trouble is, you can have people with garages full of shit, aren't you? Or better spend it because I'll lose it. So you have piles and piles and piles of crap off of eBay.
Well, we were saying about having different currency. Didn't Totnes have its own currency for a while, and the
Brixton
Totnes
did.
pound, where it just stayed within the town of Totnes, within the local businesses?
That's right.
That's what we need.
Well, that's it. But I think that's. Well, no, what I was going to say is that why should government issue currency? Because what is money? It's a means of exchange. That's all it is. It's better than bartering, because
It's a means of exchanging property, isn't it?
That's
It's
right.
legal
Labor and
world, isn't
property.
it? Because
What's that?
currency is certain, like riverbanks flow direct the current, and that's what banks are for. Basically, it's to do with,
Currency.
yeah, it's all to do with admiralty law of the sea.
Yeah, that's right.
And money is moon. I was
Moon.
watching something about this, about but these these things mean something. Like Monday, money. It's all linked to their world. It's all the all legal world, and the riverbanks direct the currency.
Right. But the thing that I'm trying to figure out more and learning about this idea of primogeniture and inheritance is the protection that it gives the common people, the most people in your society. Because if the firstborn son stands to inherit, and it says a double portion in the Bible, which means 2/3 of the property of the father. The father dies, it's in law, the son inherits 2/3 of his property, be it his house, his land, his possessions. And that way, when some government or bank come in and say, well, no, wait, or some hospital for that matter, like here, they'll take your house. If you go into a nursing home, you sign over all of your assets to their control, so that they can take out whatever it is that was spent on you for your health care.
That's it.
And
that's what they do. Yeah, it's terrible.
So-
they do that
so-
in this country. They literally drain you dry, and they charge a
Exactly.
phenomenal amount for care.
I'm going through that at the moment with my mum.
It's
£5,000
horrendous,
a
isn't it?
month, £5,000 a
Bloody
month
hell.
for some, pardon my description, shitty room and some crap food.
Yeah.
It's appalling, and
And
they've got you. They've got
aeroplane
you because,
food. I bet it's all this aeroplane food, all microwaved. Shit, basically.
it's my mum has the same. When I go down to see her I go and see her once a week, and they bought in a burger to her the other day, and I tell you what, I reckon, I'm not sure it ever had a pulse ever. It was just
Bloody
horrible.
hell.
It was just a lot like something they'd scraped out of the loo. It was
It's
disgusting.
deplorable.
Yeah.
Absolutely deplorable.
It'd be cheaper to put my mum up in the Ritz than it is to. And then,
Well,
and I need some bit of assistance with trying to do things like attendance allowance, which when she was being transferred properly into this where she is now, the people who operate it said, "Oh yeah, we'll help you out. We'll show you what you need to do." And as soon as they get the money, they don't want to know, and you never hear a peep from them. They don't want to help you. They couldn't care less. As long as they get the money, that's all they give a shit about. It's
that's
disgusting.
right. The most
It really
terrifying
is.
people. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk across you there, but most terrifying people are social services. I think they're. It's probably the same in the States. Is it, Patrick? You got social services over there. These nosy little bastards that pick their nose into other people's affairs, and they split up families,
take children away from their
That's
fathers
it.
and
Yeah.
mothers because they
Horrible
say, "Oh, you're
people.
malnourishing your child and sending them to school without proper food." It's like, yeah, I've heard people, families that I know of that have dealt with those type of situations. Yeah,
Well-
exactly. I totally agree with you and sympathize. This is where we need to go with this, though, is back to the Bible, back to Christian civilization the way it used to be, because the law of inheritance, it's one of the few inalienable God-given rights written in the Bible of the inheritance of the firstborn son. And that really makes it so that when you're protected, if the father, his property goes to his son, it's known that that's what happens. The state can't come in and touch it. The banks can't come in and touch it, because the first one with a claim on that property that he owns going into death is the firstborn son, not any government, not any other,
So it should be.
loan sharks or whoever it is.
But
Yeah, that's the way it should be. That's the way it
but-
should be. And there are lots of details to it too. Like, say the man's a philanderer, right? He gets another wife, has a son with him. He can't just say, I'm leaving it to my favorite wife's son because she's my favorite. The law goes, even if it's your hated wife, that firstborn child is the one that inherits it. And in that way, people are more likely to keep their families intact and have functioning families, because that's another problem with our society is divorce. It's just so easy to get a divorce. You don't like the person. Okay, split it up. Children get all messed up because of it.
His relationship is treated like a can of beans, all bought a can of beans. Didn't really work. Didn't like that. So I decided to get another different manufacturer's cans of beans. And then, I mean, I get fed up with these people. I had a relationship. I mean, oh, Gordon Bennett, maybe I'm from the old world, but whenever you hear someone saying, I had a relationship, you think, oh, sod off, But Barefoot Forager says, quite a few places use the Let's local currency. Yeah, that doesn't work. Just needs more people involved now. Yeah, the only problem with Let's is you end up with too many woolly jumpers or too many bowls of soup. It's a sort of barter system, the ones that they did in the 70s and 80s, and it doesn't really work. I think some sort of Dosh where you can actually exchange for what you want. Unfortunately, that's stood the test of time. But the trouble is, if you start your own currency, the government and the banks are going to say, "Oh, no, you can't," and they'll smash it up. But this idea that was on the Paul English show, BSVs, sounds pretty good, because the government and the usage scammers are crapping themselves because they can't break into it. So, and I was hoping to do live on air. I was going to buy one of these, whatever you call it, units, coins or digital coins or whatever, and they're £12 each. And I was going to buy 12, and that's about $15. I was going to buy one on air, and the F-in farmer, that's what he calls himself, was going to take me through it, on a website, but it hasn't materialized as such. I was planning that,
Have either of you two bought cryptocurrency?
No,
I'm still a bit unsure about it and
okay,
what you actually do with it, etc.
I don't understand it.
I did.
No.
I did back in 2017. I've held on to some of it, and it grew as an investment of a sort.
Really?
And it worked as a means of exchange. Is what I found the most useful is if I'm doing business in, let's say, Russia, I send cryptocurrency instead of dealing with banks, and they get the cryptocurrency, they go to an exchange, and they trade it for rubles into their account. It works perfect. It's almost like, do you have Western Union there?
Yes, we have Western Union.
Okay, Western Union. It's like Western Union. But the problem is the government then in Russia says, all right, we're sanctioning cryptocurrency. You can't trade rubles for cryptocurrency. So it just completely killed any sort of exchange between Russia and America at that point.
Really?
Because all of the other exchanges with the war that went on in 2022 were cut off. You had PayPal, all these other digital, where you exchange money, or, like wire service kind of thing. And what do you do when it gets to the point where you can't use it for trade? It becomes useless. I haven't used it in a while. I use Coinbase. It's the name of the exchange. There used to be a ton of exchanges, but then the laws came in that said you had to be an approved, licensed exchange, and then it narrowed down to like 3 or 4, out of hundreds of thousands, whatever, that were going on in the early days, 2017.
But no, there's a big thing about was it the dong, the Vietnamese dong, which was the biggest rip-off ever, because people said, "Oh, that's going to go up in value." Oh, that is.
The Iraqi dinar. Do you remember the dinar?
The dinar, yes.
I knew people that put lots of money into dinars, and it's just like, it was stupid.
Waste of bleeding time. Yeah. The safest thing I think you can put your money into which is really safe, is gold sovereigns, not the gold plates, but the gold sovereigns itself, because it's an international currency, and you get
You
a
mean
bigger return.
numismatic coins?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is the sovereign, rather
And
than the
then-
bullion.
But then with gold, if the system as we see it now collapsed, and you've got a block of gold hidden in a drawer, how do you know how much that's worth? Because I mean, if you go down and I've posed this before, that does that little block get you a can of beans, or does it get you a house, or does it?
You got to
no,
find a customer. You
it's
gotta
a real
find someone to buy it from you.
that's right. It's a real
Say the value, and then they give you a check or they give you money.
well. What it is, it's real money and a gold sovereign. And I'm going by what's his name now? I can't think of his name. But there's a gold expert on the internet. You could buy exactly the same with a gold sovereign 100 years ago as you can now.
Yeah.
So, for example,
As many
with a gold
loaves of bread.
sovereign, that's right. You could go and have get a night in a hotel and a nice meal in London with a gold sovereign, and you still can now with a gold sovereign
or
because
a nice
it doesn't
tailored
devalue.
suit
That's it.
at
Yes.
a haberdashery.
And
Well, one of the things they did with the money that we know of, like the money that we were used to have gold or silver in it, which meant
Mm.
when you bought something with it, it was actually legitimately yours. Whereas what we buy now,
Well, that was the
'cause it's
bait and
plastic.
switch.
because it's
That was the
plastic
bit-
money and they've put alloys in place of the silver and the gold, that actually makes the money worthless. So anything
Henry
you
VIII
bought
did
with
that.
it technically isn't yours. It's but they also changed the symbol. Like the pound sign used to have
The
two
two
lines
I've
across
heard
it, which
this.
was equals, but now it's
Mm.
under minus. And I think that's the same with the dollar sign. But
Really?
the dollar sign, if you split it up, is actually ISIS, which is
I didn't know that. So it's one line instead of two lines.
yeah. But the dollar sign is ISIS.
I didn't know that either because
Mm.
that's fascinating. But the thing is that
I don't know. I don't know what the details are of that. What difference it makes, because it seems like either way the currency, the fiat currency, just gets depreciated and filtered into the monopoly of a few people as
Mm.
time goes
I-
on. Fewer and
I
fewer
think the
people.
equals was that it was actually. I think the minus is that you lose out because of it, but when it was equals, it was equal. If that makes sense, I
Mm.
think I might have made that up, but it's something along the lines.
Well, it used to have on our notes, and I think it's the same in America. I promise to pay the bearer the sum of, and you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
go along to the Bank of England, and you'd have in the old days a pound, and you'd say, right, I want some gold equivalent to a pound, and they by law had to give it to you, but not any longer.
Promissory note.
A promissory
that's
note,
what they
because
had, yeah.
that's all it is, a promissory note. That paper money, that's all. But I think that we'll have to go the digital route. But this idea, BSVs, does sound a very good digital route.
The problem being with the digital is having the exchange. If you don't have a means of exchanging it, it's almost useless. Like I said, my main reason was sending money to Russia, and
Yeah.
I couldn't do it any other way eventually than cryptocurrency, and then even that was taken away. You got to find
Really?
other means of doing it. But
Oh,
there's
that's terrible.
the problem being, I look into the cryptocurrency exchange, Coinbase. I look at what everything's doing. The whole format of the app, you know how you hate apps. I hate them too. I look into it, and now it's all about gambling. It's all
Yes.
about making these shady bets on things. And
That's
it's
it.
just like this was all just to get people involved in gambling to begin with, and all of this currency stuff. You look back far enough into the history of the Federal Reserve, it was all gambling. It was all based on casinos. If you go far enough back to the Merchants Club and all these different organizations that played a part in creating the Federal Reserve in 1913.
As far as I'm concerned, I've been diddled out about $30 because
In what?
well, you know, I went on to one of these car. I
You
needed,
told a
yeah,
bit
car
about
insurance, yeah, and I had a reply this morning which just was meaningless. oh, just download the app. I downloaded the app. I've told them I've
You're going to
downloaded the
spend
app.
more time on that than the $30 is worth.
Well, I agree with you. And
Or
but
they
what I'm
are
gonna
too.
what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a YouTube video and send it to them to warn people not to go in for this, because it's. I mean, I don't want an app dinging all bleeding day telling me what the news is about cars. I don't want it, because if I want news about something, I'll find that news myself. I don't want some smart ass journalist who's probably made it up or dreamt it from somewhere telling me. I just don't want it. And I mean, this is the thing. They think you want 24-hour crap sent at you or propaganda. I don't want it. If I want
Just
to find
because
out
they're
information,
usurers. They need to make you
yeah.
feel like you're getting some value for what they're stealing from you. That's what
Well, that's
all
right.
insurance is.
Oh,
Think about it. I mean, you're spending
rip-off.
money, you're getting nothing in return.
Yeah.
And
And when you
they
make
get
a
little payout
claim,
every once in a while. Yeah, a claim.
it's you can't claim. It's. I mean, it's law over here. I mean, you used to be able. I don't know if it's the same in America. We used to get third-party fire and theft, which was dirt cheap insurance. Oh, you can't get that now. It's all fully comprehensive. And fully comprehensive means you still get sod all. You know, I mean, can you still get third-party fire and theft in the States? That is, you know,
I'm not
the
sure.
very
I don't
basic.
deal with
Yeah.
I don't deal with insurance companies
Ah,
because they're
See-
scams. As far as I'm concerned, if I need something, I'll pay for it out of my pocket. If I harm somebody, I pay for it from my pocket. I'm not going to rely on some other
isn't it law though?
corporation.
Isn't it law though that cars have to be insured? It is in this
Yeah, so
country.
you just get the minimal.
I do. I get the minimal, and this is why I go to these compare um, sites. You know, and as I
But
say,
even that shouldn't be compulsory. You shouldn't be forced to buy anything.
I agree with you.
It's thuggish behavior, mafia type behavior. You know, hey, pay me your protection money or I'll break your legs. You know, so
That's right.
pay me the money so I don't break your legs. Is what it is.
So, I said before, they should get rid of the insurance and put the responsibility of the driving back on the driver,
Spot
and
on.
and instantly that would change people's attitude on how they
Costs
drive.
will go down and how much they spend on a vehicle and all that kind of stuff that
Yeah.
goes with it.
Like in New
It's a lot
Zealand.
more.
Now, apparently,
You
New
think
Zealand.
Sorry, Chris.
No, sorry, mate. I cut in on you. Carry on. Sorry.
I was saying it would just take the responsibility back to the driver themselves, and it'd make them think differently. Whereas like now, where you know, I'll just pull out in front of this lorry because if he runs into the back of me, it's his fault anyway. Whereas if the responsibility is back with the driver rather than the insurance company, people would think twice, and it would make them stop and think at every junction. Oh, actually, I need to think about it before I pull out here. It'd change it overnight.
It would. Mark Anthony says, Eric, you can still get third-party insurance in the UK. Yeah, but it's the same price as fully comp. It's not cheaper. This is what I found. And as I say, if you go in for any of these places that find the cheap insurance for you, confused is confusing. Be prepared to download an app, and you try and get that £20 or $30. You're just hitting your head against the wall. You're going round and round and round and never decreasing circles. And it's true what Patrick said. You're probably spending more money trying to claim it
of
than
the
it's
people
worth.
you're talking to.
Yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous. But no, I think I'll do what I usually do, and that is send a letter to the head honcho, the director. That usually gets a response, because it's the principle. That's what gets me. You know, I wasn't aware that you had to download this pile of crap onto your phone beforehand. And as I say, these people think you want loads of shit being sent at you. No, I don't want loads of shit sent to me. Thank you very much. You know.
I guess ultimately the people need to remember that they don't actually own their cars anyway, because
That's right.
the registration plate that's attached to them means it's owned by the DVLA. You're just its keeper. The only way you'd ever own your car is if the registration plates were taken back off of it. And when you think
Well, it's
about
like-
it, that's what all this is all about—the insurance and all these bits and pieces. It's nothing to do with you as the individual driver. It's actually, I know I keep mentioning the straw man. It's to do with the straw man. It's to do with the legal
right.
world.
Well,
It's
it's like owning land. if you don't pay your property tax, they can take your land away. So do you
That's
really
right.
own the land?
Hmm.
Because you were talking about council tax over there.
Hmm.
It's essentially the same here. It's a property tax, and they assess the value of your land based on whatever qualifications they have, and then you're given a bill, and then that bill goes toward either the state or the local government. And a lot of times, like the local government, it goes to the school, the government school system, paying the wages of the teachers and all this kind of stuff. And you end up spending a lot of money on things that go against your interest and your beliefs and everything else that you might believe, hold dear. And they can take away your property at any time. There's no inheritance.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're talking again about primogeniture. If you have inheritance, there's no way that they could take your property because it's assigned and assigned to your next of kin, being the firstborn and your children.
It's spot on there. I mean, Warhol Rex says fire insurance is driving people out of rural areas. Now, Blu-ray says peace officers. Now, this is what I think we could use as a militia. Peace officers, Peace, and they're like Minutemen. So government thugs turn up, say, to take someone's property away from them. They send 10 of their thugs, 30 of our peace officers turn up and surround them.
Well, that's another thing.
Go away.
That's another thing property taxes go to, is to pay the cops.
Yeah.
Pay their wages.
That's right.
And then again, if you don't pay your property taxes, they come and take your property away, your land, which is unjust.
Oh, it's totally unjust. I mean, it's now Alice Gorgeous says council tax pays for bombs, my darlings. Yes, it does, and it also pays for my local council to fly an Israeli flag outside and have a light display for Israel, plus a Ukrainian flag. And I thought that local councils had to be impartial. I didn't think they were political. And us taxpayers about to pay that.
That'd be like flying a Hezbollah flag. See if anybody could get away with that over in England. I think they'd haul you in for terrorism.
Yes, or
that's the way it should be for flying that Israeli flag. It's how are they any different?
Precisely.
Terrorists. I mean, it's like define terrorism.
Or an ancient symbol that was very popular around 80 years ago, or 85 years ago. I don't think you'd be allowed to fly that outside. And I'm talking about the ancient symbol, not the way it was corrupted.
the symbol for power, as it was.
Yes,
back in the day.
Actually, it means the 4 seasons. Seriously, we're talking about the swastika. Well, that is nothing to do with.
I'm not for ridiculing anybody's religion. I think that's wrong. In that, I don't have a right to ridicule your religion. You don't have a right to ridicule mine.
I agree.
That's the way it should be. And that's. That's been the law for centuries.
Of course, the councils, going back to the council just briefly, they're all corporations anyway. They're not publicly owned. Every one of them's got is it Dun & Bradstreet? They're all on Companies House.
That's right. I've actually got the company registration number for my local council.
So they're corporations. They shouldn't be getting public money anyway.
They have as much.
Like you said before, it's like going to McDonald's and giving you tax to them, or or any other corporation, really.
Well, that's right.
A lot of taxes, like in here, you can see that they take that tax money and invest it in corporations. Like we'll have Walmarts and Targets and these big chain grocery stores that the government takes our tax money and invests it into those businesses. And they get preferential treatment the bigger the corporation they are, because they've got more lawyers on their team to go after that money, and lobbyists. That's
right. That's a good point.
Thing. But it takes away from the mom and pop businesses. Kills them, like Tesco's in your country.
Oh, Walmart in yours as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I'm hoping to show on this film that I'm doing about Waltham Abbey, I don't know whether to include it or I may have it as a separate film, to show the 2 out-of-town shopping areas that have drained the actual town of Waltham Abbey, the high street of Waltham Abbey, of shoppers. And it's like you go there any day of the week, and it's like a wet Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it used to be very vibrant, you know.
Well, that's happening everywhere. I noticed. I know I'm going to mention the B word just briefly. So the likes of Wolverhampton, at one time of day, the buses would serve the entire city, and that would get your footfall into your town. But now the buses are now rerouted out of town, and they literally serve one street to get out of to get out of town, basically. So the entire city of Wolverhampton, as it is a ghost town. But then just down the road, you've got Bentley Bridge, which is a retail park where people can go park for free. So people are never going to go in and get in their car and go and park in town and walk around Wolverhampton city centre when they can get everything they need from this crappy retail park and get to park for free. It's all, but it feels like it's by design. They want to try and
It
kill
is.
off our towns and cities, and it's working, or it is in some parts.
That's right. And as I say, apart from Turkish barbers, massage, we've got massage parlours there as well now.
Yeah,
Something completely out of place. Oh, and tattoo stores. I don't know quite what tattoo, but it's just a sort of a nothing place. And there's no banks there anymore. Used to be loads of banks.
We had a
but no
tattoo
banks.
parlor moving to our town.
Really? How do they make their money? Must be loads of people.
I don't think they should be allowed to build a business like that to
That's right.
corrupt the morals of the youth.
Well, precisely. It's there for life. I don't understand it. You know, I mean, and nail shops. That's it. Chinese nail shops. People sitting there with masks on, going. I mean,
cafes is another one. Our town here,
hundreds of them.
But yeah, I reckon
Overpriced.
some granny could go into town every day for 3 weeks and not actually see the same cafe twice. There's that many up there. Who's asking for all these cafes? Because nobody really wants them, to be honest.
Waltham Abbey is full of them. You're sport for choice for cafes. Loads of them. But you know, some of them are tourist rip-offs. And then they get the greasy spoons, as we call them. You know. So, yes, can I help you?
Sid's calf type scenario.
Yeah, that's it. You know, the potato sort of. Yeah, it's the sort of next step down from prison food. You know.
Cheerio on toast, please.
Yeah. You know, if you find a fly in there, then in your soup, they'll charge you extra because it's a bit of extra meat. You know?
you got more protein with that.
Or don't worry about the fly, sir. The spider on the other side of the plate will get him. But, burger bars. That's what we got a lot of. Burger bars and chicken places, quick chicken, which, you know, unless you want to grow, if you're a bloke, unless you want to grow breasts, I wouldn't eat the cheap chicken because it's full of bloody growth hormones. No wonder why blokes are getting boobs. But Blue Racers maybe get she-bear back on, Chris, from peace officers or Davy. Yes, I want to get a PEACE officer on here because I think that's what we need. Because you can be any age, and as long as you know something about the law, you can, so we say, politely tell these bozos, the cops or the police, to go away. That's basically it. A little bit imposing, I'd say. Now, Sam says, the illusion of money, the illusion of private property. The state has, in a way, infinite resources to indoctrinate, sorry, yes, thank you, people. It's tragic. Thanks, mate. Yes, you're right. They're indoctrinating.
And that has to do with your inheritance again. Because if you can't keep a family going from generation to generation and it just breaks up, you don't have any sort of culture that you can develop either. And there's no reason for you to educate your sons and your daughters to be good, you know, to handle and manage and be an adult taking care of property.
That's right.
Because if it's all taken care of for you, like car insurance is, or insurance in general, you're not going to care as much as if you had that fear of losing something, where
Mm.
insurance kind of takes that fear away from you, so then you're
Mhm.
reckless as a consequence, and you get a lot more reckless behavior because it's insurance will take care of that. I don't have
Oh
to worry.
yes, yeah, and also apparently in New Zealand now, I don't know too much about this, but apparently you don't have to have car insurance because directly you get into a car, you're automatically covered third party by the state, and that is if you run someone over, their hospital bills will be paid for by the state or by their national insurance, I suppose, or equivalent. I don't know if it's the same in Australia, but I know that is in New Zealand. So you can actually get into a car and drive it, and the police won't ask you about insurance because you don't have to have it. But people do get insurance, if they've got a posh car and they want to because it's only I think
Right.
it's third party. That's all you're covered for. I don't think it covers for anything else. So if you drive around in a wreck, you're not going to be bothered to insure it. And I
I
think
guess what I'm advocating for is no insurance, even by the government, because
I agree.
one way or another they're going to be
Mm.
stealing money from you to pay for that, and then pocketing whatever they can skim up from it. And it'll breed a lot more responsibility in people if you have to be responsible for the accident that you create, or
Mm.
if you get your car wrecked and you have to pay for it out of your own pocket. It's like the medical bills and
Yeah.
relying on insurance. It just drives up the costs of everything for the poor people who can't afford insurance.
We've got national
You
insurance, which comes out of your wages in this country, and it's compulsory. You've got to pay it, which
Yeah.
supposed to cover your health bills, but quite honestly, the NHS is about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. I mean, if you get run over or snarled up by a bus, run over by a bus, they will do a bloody good job of putting you back together again.
Yeah.
But anything
Well,
else, keep away from them.
Yeah, well, that's like here. I mean, I get money deducted from my wages that go to Medicare and Medicaid. And if I were in some sort of catastrophic type situation, it would take
Mm.
care of it. But the problem being, then you're then beholden to that group to collect a debt that otherwise, you could pay yourself if you could afford to pay a doctor to do what they do. And there should be no reason that bills
agree.
cost as much as they do.
Mm.
I have a friend that I recently met this guy. I'm not going to say who, but had a heart attack last year and was flown by helicopter and went to the ICU, the intensive care unit, for like 21 days. They took him off the machine for his heart. I think he was on a ventilator, perhaps, and he was dead. Basically, they put him back on the
no.
machine, and he lived. And they took him off the machine after 3 days. He lived. Well, the bill. You want to know how much the bill was? It was $1,300,000.
Deal.
$1,300,000 for like a 25-day stay in the hospital in the IC intensive care unit and a helicopter
Unbelievable.
ride. Yeah,
I mean,
it's insane.
There's private health
Absolutely
service,
insane.
private health insurance over in this country, but it's a rip-off because there's always little clauses in it where people can't claim, and it's a complete rip-off. And quite honestly, it's just big business. But Exo has asked you, Merry England's cafes. Do they have those in Telford, Mr. Anorak?
Nope, nothing like that. We have every other cafe going. Obviously, the usual ISIS, Starbucks, and Costa, and
Mhm.
you can have a different meal in each cafe, and like I say, you wouldn't see the same one twice for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But no, we haven't got one of those. But going back to what you were saying, Patrick, about the insurance on the family side of things, I mean, like care homes and stuff seem to have come along since in more recent times because people can't afford to look after their mom and dad, and that's, I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean
No,
that it seems to be a dumping ground for elderly people, and
Oh yeah,
when
brain dump.
when I go to see my mom, I can't help but when I see all the people in there, and I do speak to them, I acknowledge them, but they're all damaged, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean they're damaged by big pharma, basically. And it's probably big pharma who own the bloody care homes in the first place, so they make a fortune out of it,
They do.
deliberately making people ill.
Oh, you're spot on there. I mean, my sister said to be, last I heard, she's in a care home. My brother-in-law sent me a letter earlier this year. First I've heard from 16 years, telling me she's in a care home. So I don't know who's paying for that. I don't know, because I don't have any dealings with them. But the fact of the matter is that it's a huge rip-off, because care homes used to be catered for by the NHS, because it was cradle to grave. And I never seen my granddad's mother. That's something, isn't it? And she almost reached 103, and she was in a care home in Romford. And this care home, this was an NHS one. I was always a little nipper at the time. I must have been 6 years old, 5 years old, very, very young. And where she was, there's this huge picture window, and she laid in bed and she could look out of all the trees and squirrels and got beautifully kept gardens, and it was all run by the NHS. So how comes they could afford it that then, and national insurance was very low in those days, and then they can't afford it now?
Yeah. Well,
You know, and
and
it didn't cost her a
that's
penny.
just it. And that's just it. And not only that, I know another family. They inherited an uncle's home. You know,
Yeah.
the home was worth probably about $150,000, and they were cleaning it up, making it all nice and livable, and they were going to resell it and make some money and remodel their house and or buy another house. And Medicaid comes in, which is the federal government, and said, "Oh, no, he had outstanding debts, so we're taking your house away." You know, because or he owed $100,000 or more, and so they had first dibs on that house, on the money from the sale of that house, and it's like, that is not right whatsoever. That
I agree with you.
belongs to the next of kin, to the children.
Yeah, you're right.
They have no right to go and have first dibs on it like that.
Well, that's the
And you'd
predicament
be
I'm in at the moment, Patrick. I had to sell my mum and dad's bungalow, and I've basically been told that I can't touch the money, which
right,
and it's frustrating
because it's going to go to the care home and all the medical people. Yeah,
there's nothing. None of my.
And for what? I mean, like I said, I look at the whole place, and this is one of the better homes locally, and it's just a shithole. I'm sorry, I'm sorry to swear, but it's.
Mind you, would it be better?
Same.
Would it be better to pay someone to come in to look after your mum in her home?
It may have done with hindsight. I was basically
That's
following.
hindsight, though. Yeah.
But one of my relatives who thought she knew everything, and turns out she didn't.
Oh,
So I was going by her expertise, which was non-existent, as it turns out. My mum's happy, so that's all that matters. And well, it is what it is, and
but
it's just annoying.
The problem being is you have this double standard for your royal family, because they still benefit from this primogeniture stuff. Where they were in that situation where they had an outstanding debt, that property still goes to their next of kin.
That's right.
And that's where it's a cruel system, and you're adopting this revolutionary idea of America, and it's not good. You could go back to the old system that you had pre-1925, even, where you had that, where the families inherited it to their.
It's awful. It's cruel. Totally cruel. I mean, for example, when someone dies, you not only got the bereavement and the sadness of that, you got the bleeding government after their dosh. You know, it's vile. It really is.
And you're not allowed to mourn them either. You don't get a chance to even think about having a mourning. I mean, I lost my dad last year or 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Whatever.
My condolences.
And you don't get a chance to mourn. It's just all, oh, you got to pay this, or you got to pay that, you got to pay the other thing. Bloody hell. He's still warm. Just give us a chance. But You know what I mean? It's
That's right.
yeah. I mean, when I used to go over to the Czech Republic a lot, and over there they seem to have a different approach whereby the family unit is still there, which is what we seem to have lost in this country. And I don't know if that's the same in America. But they seem to be. You'd see people they build homes and they'd build like annexes next to it, which would have maybe their mom and dad
Where was this?
in the Czech Republic,
Czech Republic, yeah.
and then you'd find then that the streets would be fairly empty. There'd be no people, like here where you'd have youths lobbing bricks at cars or whatever. They seem to have a family-based system where the mom and dad look after the children while perhaps the grandparents look after the children whilst the mom and dad go out to work, etc. But it all seems to be a family unit, whereas here it's not. They've done their utmost to break it all up.
It's the same here in America, because when the father dies, the family dies, because you don't have anything left. It's just whatever, every man to himself. Everybody's equal, but every man's to themselves. There's no protection for the family.
What's wrong with it?
It's terrible. But Czech Republic, though, has got some very pretty girls there, though, haven't they? Is that the reason you go there? They're bloody gorgeous, aren't they? Better than Sweden.
Most places in Europe.
What is it about Britain?
They haven't got 14 stomachs. They're not.
No, they haven't got sort of stripy hair, and I suppose, do you get a few of those in Czech? Because is it the Czech Republic where they do a ministry of silly walks every year? I've seen it on YouTube, but they're all doing all these funny silly walks through the town.
I've not seen that. I tend to go over the trains and the buses, but the women are. Well, the
Very
people
nice.
in general are decent. They seem to be. I mean, if you're on a train, they have compartments, and if if the train's pretty full, somebody may come and sit in the compartment, but they'll ask you. Well, I assume they're asking. I don't speak the lingo, but I've sort of guessed that when they'll say, "Oh, come, okay, to sit in here." Yes, no problem. And you'll have a compartment with 5 other people in there. When each of those individuals gets off at their station, they'll all say thank you or goodbye or have a nice day. Yeah, everyone.
So they've got some nice crumpet over there. Sorry, I'd be very, very sexist. I think I might nip over to Czech Republic then. You know,
I would highly recommend it.
Yes. I might bring a nice dolly girl back with me. You know, so she's like, "I love your money." You know,
they're not Welsh.
But I suppose their language is what it's what is it? It's just Czech, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah. So hello is Dobry den, for example. Děkuji is thank you. I can understand a little bit. I know, but
similar to Polish. Was it Dzień dobry, which is hello, isn't it?
Prosím is attention.
Yes. And
of course, the important one for me is vlak, which is train.
Mike Mantis says, "You deviant, Chris. Fancying women." Oh yeah, I like women. I don't understand why women don't keep with me, because probably they don't like my fart jokes. I don't know quite why. I've got a good near. my baby. Hang on a minute. I got.
Do you want to share this?
Well, I worked with a bloke who wasn't an Aussie. He wasn't really shocked by anything. You know what I mean? He and him and his Sheila, they went to see who was that? Celeste Patterson. Did you ever get him in the States, Celeste Patterson?
No, I know who you're talking about because you've talked about him before.
Yeah, and he went to see him live. And he said he was absolutely bloody disgusting. He's just stood up on the stage. He's got these trousers on, but all stained all over him. And he's picking his nose. He says, "Hang on a minute, I've got a big in here." I mean, that was absolutely incredible. What was his name? Barry Humphries. He was a bloody genius. I'd never liked Dave Average, but I used to like that one. The cultural attaché, Celeste Patterson. I thought that was the funniest one of the lot, especially the film. Did you ever see the film where he started an international incident? Did you ever see that?
No, I haven't.
Well, he gets a bit drunk. He has a few of the old lagers, and they try and sober him up with cans of beans. This at the UN. And he said, "Oh no worries, I'm all right. He's got all these beans." And then he goes out on the rostrum and he drops his papers on the floor and he bends down to pick them up. And there's this sort of Arab bloke just lighting a cigarette. And of course, he breaks wind. Oh, it's on YouTube, you know.
In answer to Exo's question, he's asked me what bus is in Czech. It's bus.
Is he really?
I think so.
Yes.
In Russian too, Avtobus.
Yes.
A bus.
Matilda says, "Can't live with my mother." Nor can I, because she's dead, my mother. But because someone said, "You've lost your mother." I said, "No, she's not lost. She's dead." I think.
You know where her grave is.
Yeah. Yes, it's actually out my garden. I've got her remains up the garden. There's some plants around it. Yes.
Or it's like the Bates Motel in Hitchcock's Psycho.
Yeah.
He got her in the rocking chair.
Mike Minters said Celeste Patterson did a record called 12 Inches of Celeste. That's right. Sorry, I just get the giggles. He had it's crude Australian humour. I quite like crude Australian humour. But but the strange thing is, I've worked with a lot of Australians because I do the European tour and I come to the old country first of all because we speak the same language, and most of the, I know it's because it's architecture, but most Australians I work with are miserable sots. Seriously, well, yeah. But what gets me with the Australians is when they end the sentence with a question. So, I went down the road. It's a nice day, isn't it? You know, what do they sort of speak like that? And you think you're going to say something, you know? But where were we? I've lost track of where we were. When we went to into a fart route. Oh yes, Czechoslovakia.
Well, I was all about the Czechia. So
And the
I was talking to a driver a train driver at a place called Plzen, PLZEN, towards the southeast of the country.
Pilsen, is it?
And I was basically talking to him through a Czech to English translation book. We're having a conversation about trains. I just pick like words out and just sort of like trying to explain it. Oh yeah, they're lovely people, lovely people.
That doesn't. I'd have thought not a lot of them would have spoken English. You know, I mean, because I know if you go to the Netherlands, they all speak English, and also in Germany, most of them speak English. But
maybe
they
not
are
so much in rustic areas.
But is it right?
What I would say is though, if you ever do go over there, if anybody ever goes over there, check out the main central station, Prague. So Praha Hlavní nádraží is the central station, and just to have a look at the dome. It's
wow.
I've seen it hundreds of times, but even now, it's sends shivers. It's vast, beautiful station, really beautiful station.
Because you get these cheap
Absolutely
weekenders,
amazing.
can't you? And I mean, one bloke said it was cheaper to go to fly to Turkey and buy his shopping in Turkey and come back than to buy his shopping in this country. He proved it because the flight was so cheap. So, but I don't think it will be for much longer. But do you go by train when you go to the Czech Republic?
No, every time I've been, I've flown, but I want to do it. It can be done. I know, and with the global Interrail ticket, you can use the outbound. You can use it on one outbound journey in your own country and one return journey. So it'd be worth basically stopping somewhere like Inverness and travelling down and getting the money's worth. But I do want to do it by train. It can be done. Apparently, it can be done through Germany, Belgium, and so on.
It's not that
Whenever
far,
I
though.
have gone there, I've always flown to Prague and then basically just bus and metro. But the place I stop at is the other side of the city, and I can do the whole journey from airport on the bus, on the metro, change to another metro, and it's all done in about 40 minutes. Easy peasy. So easy to get around.
Really?
Brilliant city.
It's very
Yeah,
cheap, I
lovely.
should think, to travel as well. Unlike you need a second mortgage to travel in this country. But and Exo says, have you seen the clock in Prague, Anorak?
I haven't, but it's something I need to look at, the astronomical
Mm.
clock. Yeah, yeah.
I've
And
thought of
just to give
taking
an
it.
idea,
Oh, go ahead.
just to give an idea of value for money.
Mm-hmm.
Just briefly, I'm not tourist information, by the way, but we used to get a day ticket for the entire country, and I mean, you could travel literally from one end of the country to the other. 20 quid, any
Bloody
train,
hell!
all day. Yeah, you can't even get to Wolverhampton for 20 quid from here. It's
That's
that's how you get
marvellous.
people out of cars. Make
Mm.
the train fares valuable,
Value.
cheap. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. I
and I
mean,
was
how
showing
long's the
this to me at
flight?
work.
Because I think they're an hour ahead, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're an hour. How long's the flight? Is it a very long flight?
About an hour and a half to 2 hours, something like that.
That's not bad.
But it's just
That's
so
not bad.
efficient over there. I mean, it's yeah.
It's got nice mountain range, haven't they? I think it's quite famous for its mountainous. It's quite mountainous, isn't it? In Czech, I've got the wrong
Yeah,
place.
and Slovakia is I've done Slovakia as well.
Mm.
Slovakia I've done a few times, and that's
Mm.
very much very oldie worldy. Train journeys take forever, but they're all locos, and you can stick your head out the window. You don't get some jobs where they say, "Oh, get your head in." You might get it taken
Really?
off by a train. Let me dig on with it then. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love them.
It's
Love it all. It's great.
it's nice, isn't it? And I mean, when you go off the plane, does it say "single men this way"? Some nice crumpets. They also got to say, "Hello, I like you." You know.
Well, the first time I went over there, I made the mistake of getting a taxi from the
Mm.
airport to the digs, and that
Oh,
was a
that was
mistake.
expensive.
Yeah. But then I did the
Expensive
bus back and worked it out. It was quite easy then.
Yes.
Those
I suppose
taxi drivers are they're shysters.
no.
They'll gouge you if they can.
Yes,
If they know
yeah,
you're
yeah.
a tourist.
Especially in Athens, they actually did have taxis where you got exhaust fumes coming into the cab. So you and they just put their foot flat on the ground. And when it comes to a road junction, they just put their hand on the horn. And you sort of go, "He's not going to get through that gap. He's not going to get through it. He's got through that gap." It's just, it's terrifying, it really is. But
It's like mountain driving in the Caucasus.
Yeah.
You talk about speed demons.
oh
and
yeah,
just like they could do it blindfolded. Some of these drivers, the Armenian cab drivers going through the mountains, it's crazy. But what I remember
that's
going
right.
to Russia,
Mhm.
cost me from New York to Moscow was $600.
That's not bad.
Not
That's
bad
good.
at all compared to
bad.
the cheapest ticket to Europe
Mhm.
that was like $1,000, like to get
Really?
to Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
So
expensive
Moscow.
in
Go ahead. What's it?
America? I know obviously a lot of people use like planes to fly from New York to Los Angeles, for example. Is that expensive, or was that pretty competitively priced?
From where?
So if you flew like from New York to California
Oh, domestic.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cheaper. I mean, like, you can get low price fare. I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know. But
Mm.
200, 300,
Yeah.
maybe.
Does it? Exo says always check your change in taxes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a good one.
Well, I
But
was gonna say in Russia, the train. I took a 2.5 day train journey. It cost me $50.
bloody hell,
Wow.
that's dirt cheap.
Yeah,
In this country, I think it'd be about $1,000.
and that's on the same line that does the Trans-Siberian line.
really.
And you can go from Vladivostok over in the east near China, in Russia, all the way to Barcelona. on a
Really?
train.
Yeah, 'cause it's all connected.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that bugs me with our railway system. This is one of the things that really narks me, is that they'll send a train out from like here to Wolverhampton. It fails. They cancel all trains because nothing can rescue this train. But you can put a carriage behind a locomotive in France, and that carriage can travel behind any locomotive on any network. Because there used to be I don't know if there still is. There used to be a sleeper train that used to start in Paris and work its way through about 20 countries and end up in Moscow. And
Yeah.
that would basically have a loco change in every country, and they can all work with it. You think that's such a simple idea. Make the carriages compatible with all the locos, easy
Yeah.
peasy. Not
It is.
only in our country do they not do that. It's crap.
Is it cheap to stay in Czech though? I mean, can you? I mean, you know, sort of. Did
Oh
you
God,
do
yeah.
bed and breakfast, or did you go to a hotel, or do you do it yourself, sort of thing?
Hostel.
I book into a place when I used to go over there. It was a place called Pension Praha, very original,
Mm-hmm.
and that was about 40 quid a night, and that was
Hmm.
pretty posh to be fair. It was a
Really?
nice part of Prague, a place called Chodov, Chodov,
Mm-hmm.
and they used to do nice breakfast and usual European style breakfast. So you have your meats, your cheeses, and juices and things like that. Yeah, brilliant place. 20 minutes
But
get on the metro into town or into the main central station.
mhm.
Easy peasy.
Ah, that's interesting. And what about that in the Netherlands? There's a hotel. It's very famous for being the worst hotel there is, and they actually advertise it as being the worst hotel. It's something. Yeah, seriously, and they got famous from it, and it said. And they actually they show you the sort of the barman wringing out the beer mats into the glasses of drink, and it's sort of cigarettes or was it something? Oh, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's very famous for being a crap hotel, and people actually go there to see how crap it is. And apparently, it's not as crap as all that, but it's supposed to be the real crummy dive. You know, it's where tourists go and things like that. But now that hotel, that £40 a night, that's not bad, is it? And I mean, I suppose you get a full breakfast and what evening meal,
Yeah.
or
The only thing with it is that, like for me as a train anorak,
mm,
is to be able to travel anywhere, you have to set off fairly early because the trains aren't particularly fast. But that's part of it. That's part of the charm of being there. It's a nice leisurely journey, and I mean,
are they on
last time
time?
I went, yeah, for the most part, yeah, yeah. And you get, and I'm going to be a bit techie here.
Mm,
Their locos, the electric locos in particular, unlike ours, they're not restricted on speed and acceleration, and they're pretty impressive. I have to say. I remember me and my mate, we were traveling back from a place called Kolín, which is
mm.
sort of out on the outskirts of Prague, quite a way out of Prague. And I think this locomotive driver was on a promise that night. I'm not joking. He stuck his foot down out of Colleen, and he was absolutely tanking it along. I think he must have been on a promise that night. But yeah, they're brilliant. Absolutely,
Yeah, but
they're good stuff. It's good
I
stuff.
mean, do you find anybody that can speak English though, or is it a non-speaking sort of country? You know, I mean,
Some
there must
do.
be. Hmm,
It's very limited indeed. I mean, I
surprised
tend
in
to find
Prague.
just
Yeah.
pointing at things,
Hmm.
and yeah, for the most part,
Shouting, I find
yeah.
shouting helps. So, what do you bloody mean? No, I'm only joking.
But then a lot of the train drivers were enthusiasts. So in the in the
Hmm,
summer Saturdays and Sundays, they put out heritage diesels on old
hmm.
stock, and the drivers are basically, in our world, we classify them as cranks or anoraks basically. And when I was over there the last time, we went out to a place called, where was it? A place called Tanveld, I think it might have been called. But this driver was an enthusiast. I got my head out the window in the tunnel. He looked back, saw me there. He said, "I'll give it some thrash." It was just brilliant, absolutely great. It was
Really? Oh,
brilliant
it's
entertainment. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because I like the
Yeah,
old trains where you can open the door and open the window. I hate these
yeah, yeah.
bloody
There was
modern
no health and
trains.
safety over there.
Oh,
If I
that's what I like. That sounds my type of place. I like
if
that.
I want to
Yes.
go and take pictures by the side of the track, and I get hit by the train, it's my fault for being there, which is the
Yeah,
correct way it should be.
I
And then that
100%
way,
agree with you. Well, do you know, near where I live, I'm serious about this. They used to have a place where you could walk across the track into the Lee Valley. You see, and that was until some drunk Polish people came along and fell asleep on the track, and then they had a woman almost got run over by a train because where she came from, they could hail a train down. I don't know what country it was, and she thought they could do it here. And they didn't realise it's a bleeding express going straight up to Cambridge, going about 100 miles an hour. And now what they've got a barrier which is closed. There's a bloke, 24 hours, there's a bloke in a hut. And when you need to go across, they've got a footbridge. But I mean, if you're a lazy bastard like I am, I mean, you can't drive into the Lee Valley. We can to a certain point, but at this point, you can only walk or go by bike. Well, to lift your bike up and carry it over a footbridge, if you've got a bit of a heavy bike, or if you're a bit of a lazy git like I am, and you don't do that, you say, can you open the bag? Can I cast the valve, please? And he says, yes, sir, in about 10 minutes' time, because the bleeding express is coming through. And you can wait there for about 10 or 20 minutes. And then you think, oh, sod it. And you go walk across the bridge. Yeah, but to think how much it costs to have a bloke there, well, it's a cushy old number, though, isn't it? A cushy old job, especially if you go through the night. You just sit and have a kip, getting paid for it. Yeah, and it's like what do you call it? A container thing that's got windows in it, and he's got all flowers around it. I think they must take it in shifts of several people, But it's a real cushy old job,
Well, you see, that's another thing that comes back, going back to the Czechia just briefly again, is that a lot of the stations will have things like, they'll have restaurants, they'll have like pubs and stuff in there. They're a gathering point for communities.
Really?
That's another thing you find, and it's not just like the main stations. It's also even like the little rural stations. There'll be like a bar and stuff on there.
That
kind of like
sounds
Italy.
great.
Italy's the same way.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I mean, it sounds like a far better country. I mean, the grass is always greener on the other side, but do people seem more happier than they do in this country? I mean, I mean, the amount of depression there is. I mean, it must be awful. Or do you get them with the smartphones? I suppose you've got all them, and you're still sitting doing this.
No, I must be honest. It's that I was thinking about that, and I don't remember seeing many people using their phones at all. If I'm honest, most people tend to talk and obviously. They might be saying, "Oh, some English tosser sat there." Look, I don't know what they're saying, but
or that's a nice anorak. Or that's a nice anorak, isn't it? But old Mike Mannis has said, heard in the news that train tracks are being destroyed. It's a sleeper cell. Sorry. But it does sound rather nice, actually.
I would recommend it. I really would.
Yeah. But, I mean, what would be the cost to go there for a weekend? I mean, how many bucks would it be, sort of roughly?
That's a good question. Depends on flights, obviously. But obviously digs, depending on where you stay. That'd be 80 quid for 2 days or 2 nights plus food. I mean, food's cheap as well, depending on what you have. I mean, I'm not a restauranty person. I tend to go and buy sandwiches and things like that just because it's convenient.
Yeah.
But again, they have supermarkets on most of the stations. One of them's called Albert, but they have like fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. Fresh fruit. And I'd go and buy a punnet of blueberries and take them out of me. And they were absolutely delicious. Not like the shit you get here. Really, really nice, fresh. They actually taste like blueberries rather than like someone's trod on them before they've given them to you. They're really nice. Yeah. Great place.
Mind you, is it now? I'm just trying to think, how far is it from Ukraine to Czech? It's not that far.
Quite a way. You'd have to go through all of Slovakia.
Oh,
on the
that's
border
all
with
right,
Ukraine.
Yeah.
And interestingly, when we did Slovakia, I was based in a place called Žilina, which is on the border with Czechia and Slovakia, as it were. And you can photograph pretty much anywhere in Slovakia without no problems whatsoever. But there's a place called Košice, and just outside Košice, it's how it's pronounced. It's not spelled like that. Yeah. And there's a US steel foundry in this, or steelworks in this part of the country, and it's the only place you can't take pictures.
Really?
Yeah, you can take pictures anywhere else, but not at this one little location. It's weird.
I wonder how they felt about the lockdown and masks and that. As they were communists, I wonder whether they're a little bit more rebellious than we were. I don't know.
I didn't go over there. In fact, the last time I went there was 2018.
Oh, I
And I
see.
stopped in Brno, not Brno,
Mm.
Brno, BRNO, bottom southwest, on the border with
Mm.
Austria.
That
Yeah.
sounds nice. Oh yeah, Austria. I mean, I've been to Austria. I mean, it's beautiful, Seefeld and places like that. It's a gorgeous country, and what I like is the smell. You can smell pine forests everywhere. It's pine. It's
Well, the
beautiful
thing you
smell.
get in the Czech Republic, a lot of places have
Mm.
timber mills,
Oh yes.
and that is, in fact, I've also been over there in the winter as well. And one thing I will say is that they know how to switch on heaters on board trains. Because me and a mate, we went to a place called Český Těšín on the border with
Mm.
Poland, and it was -14 there. It was bloody freezing. And then we had about an hour at the station, by which time we were frozen
Mm.
stiff. And the train pulled and got on that, and I tell you what, I thought out on here, staying here, just down here for a couple of hours. Brilliant. And all the trains run. You get 3 foot of snow, and they still run, all on time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this country. I mean, I think we must have the. Well, I think we must have the worst transport system in Europe. Must be easily. They reckon that
You mean as
Irish
far as
trains supposed to be
public
good.
transport?
Yeah, it
Public
must be the
transport? No,
worst.
we've
Yeah.
we've got you beat.
Really? Oh, I don't know. I think we can go. I mean, buses don't arrive on. I mean, where I live,
We don't even have buses. In my town, if you don't have a
Really?
car, you're not getting anywhere unless you're going to a casino in a minibus. That's
Really?
about it. Or
What about
doctor's
Greyhound?
appointment.
Don't you get Greyhound buses and things like that?
No. No, we used to
Yeah.
have a train that ran through our town, and they took that out in the 80s, late 80s, and then they had Greyhound bus service. They took that out, and now
Hmm.
there's nothing.
Is the
You-
Greyhound bus as crappy as people say? I mean, it's supposed to be shit. Is it
Well, the
right?
modern buses are nice, but they're still,
Mm.
it's cramped,
Yes.
especially if you're a
Yeah.
tall guy.
Yeah, you got your sort of knees up to your chin all the time, you know.
Hmm.
But no, because that's about the only bus Greyhound that I can think of. You must have other companies, don't you? Or is it any Greyhounds? Because you can book,
they have
you
other,
can
they
actually
have other
book
companies.
Greyhound buses in London. They've actually got
Do
booking
they?
places. Yeah, you can book Greyhound.
Yeah, they have them here, but it's not common to use them unless you're in a big city. And usually it's out east. They have them.
You have your local transit systems, don't you? Like in Chicago, like Chicago's got Metro and so on and so forth. And that's
Right.
where I agree with what Nathan says. I know where he complains about buses. Well, of course, most mainland European cities have trams. Well,
Mm.
trams can't go off route; they stick to route, and they tend to work, and people find them easy to use. Whereas, obviously, you get buses, and bus drivers may think, well, I'll just cut that bit of the route out to get home a bit quicker, and things like that. You know, you can't do that with a tram. And I think trams are perhaps the better answer in some respects.
Well,
I like my favorite public transport was Moscow, the metro.
really.
You'll never see anything like it anywhere else. You got to go there if you like public transport. It's got to be the best system
Really?
anybody's come up with.
Well, in this
Everything's in a
country,
Everything's in a spider web. Think of like
yeah.
an inner circle near the Kremlin, and then they have all sorts of outer circles, and then they have lines going into the center and out of the center, like a spider web. So you can be in one spot of the city and be in another spot in no time, faster than you could if you were driving a car.
Really?
And aren't their metro stations absolute works of art as well?
The
How they're
stations are
designed and so on.
impeccable, beautiful.
Really?
Statues and just chandeliers. It's amazing.
Oh, that's what I like. Plenty of that.
And
But,
they're also underground in case there's a nuke goes off. They're like way underground,
really.
so they're
And,
bunkers too.
Also, I mean, our public transport system always smells of stale piss. I don't know quite what it is. And then the buses, you see, where I live, you've got a list.
Subways like that. Yeah.
If you sit down, you see, you've got a list of things. If you want syphilis, someone's got syphilis on that seat. If you want fleas, someone with a scooty on that
Go to
seat.
New York City. Go to New York City. The subway smells like it's terrible. You go on the streets in Manhattan, and they don't have any place for the garbage, so they just put it right on the sidewalk, and it piles up as high as your shoulders. It's crazy.
Really?
It's nasty.
Now, Holly's son, this is Nathan Lucius, says Holly's son is dependent on public bus that runs 1 hour, it's a bit like where I live, to get home from school, which is often cancelled. No, it's just not acceptable. I
No, I
agree.
agree with that. It's wrong. And
How long? An hour?
Yeah.
Yeah,
1
like
hour.
about like here in the rural areas, some children are on for an
That's
hour.
like that with where I live. It's about well, no, I think it's about 1 every 2 hours if you're lucky, and that can be cancelled. So,
But mainland Europe has it completely different in that. I know I've mentioned the Czech and Slovakia. We had a week over in Austria many years ago, and we did what they call a semi-fast service from Vienna back to Linz. And at every station this train pulled in at, there was a bus sat there waiting for it. And that's not like here where the train arrives at 5 to, and the last bus goes at 10 to and doesn't wait. Over there,
That's right.
they link up with each other, and you get, like say you get off at, I don't know, Frankfurt, for example, in Germany at the moment. So Frankfurt, you step outside, you've got the S-Bahn, which is the local, like the equivalent of the underground. You've got trams, you've got buses, and they all meet at the station. And that's how you get people out of cars, because it's an integrated transport system. They all
Yeah.
work together rather than
I bet
in
they're
this country.
clean. I bet
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
spotlessly clean. I mean, in here, I mean, what I like about the buses is you can hear the Coke cans all rolling backwards and forwards underneath the seats. But I actually got this theory that London buses are public lavatories because, again, they smell of piss. And I think people get on there and say, excuse me, driver, and they sort of have a pee and then they get off at the next stop. You know what I mean?
And do you know why they're red? Do you know why the London buses are red?
No.
So when they run somebody over, they don't have to take the bus back to the garage.
Did you ever hear Bob Newhart had to be a bus driver? Did you ever hear that one? A bloke was going
No,
to
I know who he
yeah,
is.
and he said, always apply the brake. When elderly ladies getting on with 2 bags of shopping, remember to start off and then do an emergency stop. And she goes, wee, well, it's all the way down the bottom of the bus. But no, I mean, what is it? Is it London buses? I think they're strictly for people that got psychiatric problems. I mean, they're not psychiatric wards on wheels. Hello, I've got a nuclear bomb in my pocket. That sort of thing.
I've got a
Mind
question. Do they let you drink alcohol on the buses?
I think you drink what you want, can't you?
Can you?
I know it's
Yeah, I
banned
think
on the
so.
London Underground. London
Is it?
Underground don't allow it, but then
Yeah,
who
'cause
polices it?
They wouldn't.
No, I
let
think you
do
can.
that,
I think you can eat. Yeah, I think you can drink. Yeah, I've seen people boozing. Yeah, drinking cans
Yeah.
of beer.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take
And that's
dogs
just
on.
the driver.
That's right. You can take dogs on on transports as well. On the buses, they allow dogs on. Not even guide dogs and all things like that. But no, I think that when I was years ago, I used to suffer from very bad hay fever, and the attacks I got was have to, and it was really bad. And I used to go into like sort of spasms of it. And round springtime, it was awful. But since I've been on this diet, strangely enough, I don't get hay. Well, I get a few sneezes, and that's about it. Well, I used to carry a toilet roll in my pocket. Because quite honestly, you just go through a handkerchief in no time at all. And I was sitting on this bus. And it's a typical route master one. And I went, I've got the toilet roll out. Pulled the toilet roll and it came straight out my pocket and rolled all under the seats, all the way up to the top, and then back and I sort of suddenly tore it off and sort of shoved it in my pocket, But because you had the gag about, and it's supposed to be true. This is supposed to be a true gag, all right? It's a gag, but it's supposed to be a true story. And this happened apparently in the 50s. And the route, you know what I mean, Patrick, about the route master buses. We used to have route master buses. You know the type.
No. Tell
The
us.
route master buses, they're the ones that you could get. There's no door at the back, and you could just get straight on them. If they've pulled up at the traffic lights or stopped, there's no automatic door that opens. You just got on. And there's like a platform at the back with a big rail. Yeah. Anyway, this woman got on the bus, and they used to have seats that are over the wheels that sort of, how can I explain, like bench seats either side.
They face sideways.
That's right. The spacious site. That's thanks, mate. Yeah, and then they had the conventional seats beyond them. You see, and this woman got on a bus, and apparently it happened in Devon, I think. And she was sitting, and she was busting for a fart, absolutely busting. You see, more fart gangs. You see, and she's sitting there squeezing it in, and there was a hill further up the road. So she thinks, well, if I time it when the bus driver changes gear, in the old 50s, revs up, people won't notice it. Well, she mistimes it and she lets out this enormous fart right the way through. And everybody looks round and she goes blood red. Embarrassment. And out of embarrassment, she says to the conductor, "Conductor, have you a map of the route?" And he says, "No, madam, but we can stop the bus and get a handful of leaves if you like." It's supposed to be true. I don't know. Make up your own mind whether it's true or not.
It's an old dad joke.
Yes. Although there was a bloke, I think, I worked with. Him and his dad used to like fishing. And when he was a kid, he went fishing with his dad, you see. And they had these bench seats that went sort of sideways. There was like a luggage rack above them. And he said they put this fishing stuff up on this rack, and a very posh woman got on, made up like a dog's dinner. And they said, as the bus is going along, the box of maggots opened up, and they were dropping on her head. And she started crawling around. And she said, they said they didn't know what to do. And when they got to their, their place of where they wanted to get off, they sort of just picked the maggots up, in the box, and just got off the bus. And this woman's got maggots all crawling down her head. But, I can just imagine that, But no, it's funny because, as I say, buses. Whenever I see a bus, they're empty. There's nobody on them. I don't know. There's very few people. You never see a full bus around my
Ours are well used locally here, but again, timekeeping is crap.
Oh yeah.
And that's down to the council. I mean, we got this. There's one called Route 100, which links north to south, Telford, as it were. But it doesn't go into the town. It goes along the expressway along here. But it's timed so strict that the driver only literally gets about 2 minutes at each end of the route. So if he's 20 minutes late because of a hold-up or because of roadworks or a pothole or whatever, he can't get the time back, and then he's running late all day. It's again, that's the sort of thing you don't see in mainland Europe. The buses will have like 20 minutes, 25 minutes at the station, so they'd have to be pretty late in order to still be late. So they have the time to make, they have the opportunity to make the time, and that was the same with the trains as well. And I noticed this when I did Belgium many years ago, that the express service, while most trains would have sort of 5 minutes layover at each main station. So if that train's 20 minutes late, by the time he gets to his destination, he's back on time. And that's how you keep trains easy peasy. It's such a simple system.
Where I live, I mean, to the town, it takes about 15, 20 minutes by car. About 15 minutes by car. I can do it in about 20, 25 minutes by push bike. By bus, it can take anything up to 40 minutes. Seriously. That's if you're lucky you'd have to get on a bus if it hasn't been cancelled. So it's quicker to go by push bike.
But of course, as a bus operator, they have to try and get the money back for the amount. I mean, the buses themselves are about £250,000 a piece, and that sounds
really,
yeah. And it's
the old bangers around where I live though. They're about 20 years old.
They won't keep them. There'll be no tech on them. They'll last forever.
Tell you what, I did notice though that they when they stop at a bus stop, the suspension goes down.
Oh, the low floor thing. Yeah.
Yeah, what's that for disabled people? I suppose.
Supposed to be, although it only seems to apply to the buses and not the actual infrastructure around them. As we have locally here, you'll have a bus stop where the curb is at road level. Well, that's unless you got Evil Knievel in a wheelchair, he ain't gonna be able to get off.
I like overtaking buses on my push bike when they're going about down the bus lane. Because it's up. Because there was a hold up down what's called Crossbrook Street, and there's and the bus lane is what they call the old pond. And this hold up went right away back, and there's this Porsche. And I was on my racing bike that day, and I thought I can bet I can beat you, you bastard. Turn to the town, so I did. So I was real smug. Had the sunglasses on the lot.
Of course, in our country, we replaced good old beaching was the issue there. That you replaced
Beaching
a lot
Hall,
of
yeah.
the local train service that would have been with buses, because buses were deemed as cheaper, and now we're at a point where they're trying to remove those buses as well. So there's no connections, and they should have kept the old lines open, or mothballed them for future
Yeah,
use should they be needed.
that's interesting. Yes. Now, I mean, Axo says I got overtaken by an electric, but I have in my car the other day. The speed was astonishing. They're illegal ones because they're only allowed to. Well, you can get up to 15.5 miles per hour, and if you pedal like fury, you might get to about 20 if you're lucky because of bleeding heavy things. But I got overtaken by two blokes, one on the back, and this electric push bike. I mean, he must have been doing at least. I mean, I was going about 30, and he shot past me. I was standing still. He cut me up in the car. I thought, what bleeding cheek, it's cheeky sod. But to know these electric bikes, have you ever thought of getting one of those electric bike? You can
Me?
tweak it a little bit, to go a bit faster, Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I
it's not
don't
something.
know.
I've got a push bike somewhere, but I think I haven't ridden a bike for years. But
Yes, hang on. It was a maggot. It was Weevil Knievel.
very good.
That's Mike Mantis. Yes, but now going back to Dosh, the money and things like that. I mean, travel in this country is bloody expensive. It really is. To get to anywhere, you're saying goodbye to 20 quid at least to any main journey.
Yeah.
It's bloody expensive.
Unless you now have to break the journey up. If you're on about railways, trains, sometimes it's cheaper to book to sort of a little shack, a little
Yeah.
stay. So, like for example, if you're going to Doncaster, for example, you might book to Adwick, which is the next station up, but you don't go there. And that turns out to be cheaper because nobody really wants to go there. That sort of thing.
Oh,
Sometimes I'm breaking up your journey. So, like if I want to go up to Sheffield from here, I can book from up as far as Derby and then do Uttoxeter to Sheffield. Now that works out a lot cheaper than Derby Sheffield. It's a con. It's a big con.
yes, it's interesting. Actually, Patrick, I mean, electric bikes are taking off in America, aren't they? No, I think he's gone, hasn't he? No, I think. Oh yes, he's cleared off for a little while. But no, electric bikes. I can't see much point really. I mean, I use my bike for exercise. To me, that is my gym. I don't go to the gym or anything like that.
Well, I'd be worried that with the electric bikes, that the batteries would be radiating in nether regions, basically.
Got a good point. Yeah.
Like charging your phone on where the charging points are on board trains, which are right between the seats.
Well,
you can see where that's heading for.
And you've got the battery between your legs on an electric bike, which is not a particularly good idea. But no, it's now. And Nathan has said breaking the journey up just adds time and stress, which is no good if you have a lot of baggage.
To get off as long as the train calls there. So, for example, if I was if I booked Birmingham, Derby, Sheffield, I'd still get on the same train because the train would go from Birmingham to Derby and then on to Sheffield. Don't have to get off. As long as the train calls there, it's fine.
Yes, that's interesting. It's just time restricted, for example. Now, velomobiles, yes, they look like a sort of giant turd on wheels with electric assistance is designed for longer, faster trips. Yeah, I've never actually seen one in the raw, shall we say. I've only seen them on YouTube, but they're bloody ugly things. They cost a fortune to buy. They're talking about £10,000 and that sort of thing. You know, buy a car for that.
There's a bloke I see sometimes going. He's got a push bike, but this thing is absolutely huge. It's like it looks like a hamster in a wheel. It's
Yeah.
I think he must have to sort of plan his journey and add 10 minutes on for him to be able to walk from the bike to where he's going, because this thing's so vast. And it just looks I don't know, a bit strange.
It's a streamlined turd is what he calls those velomobiles. Yeah, I'd say that. It's a streamlined turd. And Doncaster, this is Alice Gorgeous. Oh, she's interested. Do you live near... No, sorry, Doncaster, do you live near there, Anorak?
No, I don't.
Ooh.
I'm on the other side of the country. Shropshire, Telford.
Shropshire, Telford. Yes. What is it about, the Iron Bridge?
Yeah.
Look at that bloody ugly building they built behind it. It was a power station. Why they did that? Because when I went to God knows why they did it. Well, they knocked it down.
Gone. Yeah, they knocked that down 4 years ago. But then I always thought the Ironbridge power station fitted in with the rest of the buildings. It always look the cooling towers in particular, I think, are quite pleasant to look at.
But it's quite an amazing piece of engineering, Ironbridge, isn't it? Because it's all wood joints. Because they didn't know how to join steel in those days. I don't think they'd invented rivets at that point. So they did it all with wood joints.
They didn't use frogs, did they? They go rivet, wouldn't they?
Rivet. And Walhall Rex says, build your own. It's a bicycle, you can handle it. Nobody come arse over head off. Go arse over head off one. What I did, knocked myself out for about half an hour. So there's some kids that found me. Seriously, it's quite a nice feeling when you go wake up. You sort of, that's interesting. You sort of wake up face to face with the path.
They can be dangerous, can't they? And of course, when you're on a push bike, you're at the element of everybody going past is a decent driver and not. Like I've seen before. Well, I've had near misses on the push bike many years ago. This Range Rover missed me by inches.
Oh yeah.
You think?
Well, actually, no. What happened with me? It was in November, a couple of years. Must be about 3 or 4 years ago now. And I was on a path, believe it or not. And I came off and knocked myself out, and I must have been out for about a good 20 minutes. Knocked myself straight out. And as I say, some school kids, I can't, they were very good. And I sort of woke up. And it's only about a couple of hours afterwards the shock came out. But yeah, I mean, I really gave myself. I didn't have a cycle helmet on or anything like that. But it's my own silly fault.
But I never know whether the cycle helmet's really making a difference anyway. Because if you go over the handlebars,
that's why I'm with me. I went over the handlebars. So
do you think they should fit seatbelts to bikes?
A bit arse belts.
That could be quite painful as well, couldn't it? If it missed you, get that in the wrong place, you'd be part of the Bee Gees.
I tend to be a bit. I'm a very placid. When I'm in my car, I'm quite a placid driver. I don't speed or anything like that. I'm a very bit of a sort of a join me dead, really. But when I'm on my bike, I don't know what it is. I think what it is, when you're in your car, you've got to watch for speed cameras and things like that. And I've never really been a speed merchant. But there's something about my bike where I am a speed merchant on a bike. And I just like going like a bat out of hell on a bike. I don't know why.
Is it freedom, though? Is it because
I think it's what it is. Yeah, I can give a shit. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to worry about speed. I mean, there's a 20-mile area, small area near where I live, 20 miles an hour. But because I'm on a bike, I can go over that, and I have. And down the bus lane, like a big bat out of hell.
Haven't cyclists been done for speeding? Even though you can't really know how. I mean, I suppose you can get an idea of how fast you're travelling, but
reckless cycling, I suppose you can be done for, but not for speeding, because officially, even though I have got a speedo on the bike, the bikes don't have a speedo. I'm not sure you can get speed done for speeding. No, I don't think you can on an electric bike. I'm not sure. But you can't get done for speeding, no. But you can be done for sort of, I suppose, dangerous cycling, I suppose, reckless cycling, causing harm. I don't know.
Of
But
course, with the new rules on the road as well, where you get the cyclists can now ride side by side as well, which,
Mm.
yeah, I'm
Well,
not
I
sure
don't
about
believe in
that
that.
either, to be honest. I think that's,
Yeah, but it's all the bleeding potholes I try and avoid. But
yeah.
what was it helmets don't work? It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
But no, I think the thing with cycling is it's better than going to a gym. I've never been to a gym in my life, but I can't see the point of gyms. It bore me shitless to sort of stand around sweaty people lifting things and that. I like to have an objective, and that's it. But the good thing about push bikes is you don't worry about traffic jams either, and things like that. And I've actually got to see Miles's place quicker than by car when there was a terrible road up. It takes me 35 to 40 minutes, depending if I've had spinach that morning.
So I used to go to the gym, but I've not been able to whilst I've got this hernia because I'm
Mm,
afraid of, well, making it worse. I mean, at the moment, it's actually quite pleasant and comfortable, not
mm.
uncomfortable at the moment. So,
How are
but
you doing about the healing of it? I mean, how are you approaching it? I mean, are you doing natural healing or?
I'm just trying to let it get on with it. It's on
Mm.
its own. God, I've bought some
This is it. This is in
black.
your stomach, isn't it? It's a stomach
Yeah, top of
hernia.
my
Yeah,
stomach.
yeah.
I've bought some black seed oil. I'd say that's good stuff. I'd tell you what, that clears your brain fog. Black seed oil.
Really?
I had a teaspoon of that yesterday and this morning.
Mm.
I'll tell you what, it tastes like shit. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But it works. It clears the brain. I tell you, it's good.
Really?
Good
Bit
stuff.
like Udo's oil. Now, Udo's oil. Have you ever tried Udo's oil? It's brilliant
I'm
stuff.
not searching for that online.
Like Udo's oil, and oh my godfather! So I decided to take it because I mix it with a banana, so it hides the taste. And I had it raw one morning, and it went sort of down for a little while, and it went boom straight up again. My stomach just said, "I'm not having that. Sod that." And it's bloody expensive, as well.
I thought I'd better try. I thought I'd try this black seed oil, but I thought it might be better to do it on a weekend rather than
Yeah.
on a weekday in case it made me feel like shit. But no, it was good. Although
Hmm.
I will say, yesterday, I
Yeah.
know Alice was saying about feeling like she was an old lady.
Hmm.
Well, I must be in the old man category at the moment because yesterday I had an afternoon nap, but it was weird because it felt like I'd been asleep for hours and hours and hours, and I woke up a couple of times in that period, and I was only asleep for about 40 minutes. It was really
I
weird, but
found
it
that.
felt like
Yeah.
time had stopped.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on around us at the moment, and yeah,
I know what you mean. It's funny when that happens. I have that because I wake up early in the morning, about 5 o'clock every morning. I wake up and I lay there and I think I've been there for about an hour, and it's only about half an hour gone past or 20 minutes. It's peculiar, But no, I think that have you tried the sauerkraut? That might help with your hernia a little bit because it's good for your stomach, but you can make your own sauerkraut. It's really easy. It's cheaper and better to do it yourself, really. Just buy a cabbage and that's it, really. But no, sauerkraut is very, very good for you. I mean, uh, I've just bottled my sauerkraut, which I started 3 weeks ago. It takes about 3 weeks to ferment, but yeah. Oh, Patrick's back again.
I like
Um,
Mike's
he-
little joke there as well. That's rather good.
oh, Mike says, I felt like an old lady the other day. My case comes up next week. Now, Patrick, welcome back, mate. Was it something
Hey.
we said, or was it we
No,
didn't
I
talk
had to
about
take
cheese?
out the trash. I had to take out the trash bin. I went through the
Uh,
house, got all our trash.
that's very
threw it
good, very
outside.
good. Very good.
Yeah.
By the way, isn't Mr. Trump a marvelous president?
Yeah,
Was
He's,
it
he's
peace group? Piece of this, piece of
he's
of
bored
Iraq?
with peace. The
Yes,
board of
he's
peace
pieced off
movement.
with it, isn't he? Yes.
Yeah, well, I find it's aptly named board of peace. He's bored of peace.
He certainly is. I'll tell you something. Typical. He says he's not a politician. No, he says one thing, to get. He tells people what they want to hear to get voted in, and he does the complete opposite when they're in. And but I gather from what I've seen that unfortunately, I mean, it upsets me. The innocent people are getting killed. Even people in the military and that innocent. We could do without that. But the death toll now is over 200 for America. The actual ones, even though they say it's 6, they're written that because a lot of special forces have been captured.
Yeah.
But
I've
now
heard more.
now
If you go by the Iranian media, it's more.
well, that's it.
They're feigning the numbers because that's what you do in war.
Well, you're right, but apparently the Straits of Hormuz hasn't been fully closed.
No, they've come out and said they didn't close it.
But Alice Gould just says, is some here we are. She says, castor oil pack for your hernia, anorak mate. What about that?
I've
You
just
got
gone
a
back to and
hernia,
asked a
huh?
quick question on that, saying what do we mean? I know I've got some castor oil. I'm not sure what a castor oil pack is though.
You got to look up a song. There's that James Brown song called "Living in America."
Yes.
Weird Al Yankovic made a version called "Living with a Hernia."
Oh yeah, I say that one. Yeah, but Patrick's one's in his stomach. It's not in any other department. But no, actually, I've heard good and bad stuff about castor oil. I mean, if you have a word with Miles, I think he says it's very carcinogenic. But that Australian doctor, swears by castor oil.
They say any sort of seed oil is a carcinogenic at a certain amount. I don't know. I used to make black seed oil with a press.
Really?
I had a press that was a rotation screw type press, and it would make oil. Yeah, made that, and flax seed oil.
That's interesting.
Linseed oil, in other words, paint.
Oh, linseed oil. The trouble is you have linseed, and I don't think you can get out the loo in the morning.
Yeah. Well, any of these oils, you take like a tablespoon of olive oil. That'll loosen your bowels.
Now, I disagree with you here, Aunt Sally, because I've met Aunt Sally. I'm trying to get my head around the fact that I'm actually am an old lady. Laugh out loud. No, you're not. No, I'm a little bit older than you as well. And no, it's funny. Age is weird, isn't it? It's something I've never.
It's inevitable. We're all gonna get older.
It's just a number at the end of the day.
Yes.
You become a certain age, you're a living monument.
Well,
And
I think
you've
Groucho
got
Marx.
knowledge that people don't have, that didn't exist when you did, and you know things
That's
that they
it.
don't, that you can relate to people, and the more you
Wisdom.
can tell people your story, the better. Yeah.
Now, the thing is, Aunt Sally says you're as old as you feel, but I always think of what Groucho Marx used to say. And he used to say, gentlemen, you're as old as the lady that you feel.
So if you're a toy boy, then you're screwed.
Now Alice Gould just says here, I should give him castor oil on some wadding, tie it around your middle with a bandage. And they reckon, who's that Australian doctor you see a lot of? What's her name? She's not a doctor really. She's a next nurse or something. Miles can't stand her. But I want to get rid of my bunion. I've got a bunion I want to get rid of. It bleeding gets on my tits, it does.
Still, stick it on eBay. Someone will buy it from you.
Bunion for sale.
Comes with a toe.
She goes, really, Eric? Oh my God. Yes, I'm being a little smutty tonight. Now, so he says, I don't get the fad with castor oil either. It isn't absorbed anywhere in the body.
Is
So
it a
what's the
fad?
point of it? It's a barrier.
It's not really a fad. It's an old wives' tale, or an
Is it?
old. It's a
Hmm.
commonly known. You see those old cartoons of
Well, children used
people,
to
babies getting fed castor oil.
yeah. Didn't men used to rub it into their hair? Because no, and Macafa, wasn't it? Because you have on the back of a seat an anti-Macafa, Macassar, and it's the Macassar oil that used to rub into their hair to make it nice and shiny. And when they sit back on their seat on a chair, they get all the oil all over the back of the seat. That's why they had these little cloths called anti-Macassar cloths or doilies or whatever, you know. But yeah, it seems to be a big thing there, castor oil. And Aunt Sally says, I don't care about my age. I'm grateful that I got to it. To be honest, yes, I agree with you. You know,
You've got to love life at the end of the day. It's just age is
yeah.
just a number, and it's. I mean, we don't even know if that's our real age anyway, because I mean, we've been lied to about everything else, and we know the
Well,
calendar's wrong, so it could be. Who
well,
knows? Who knows?
well, that's
Plus,
right.
we've
I
had
don't
live.
remember.
Plus, we've had lives previously that we obviously. This isn't our first time here. I reckon we've all been here at least quite a few times. We've
I
lived
agree.
lives previously, so it's just a
Hmm.
number at the end of the day.
And I actually think I have a Cornish link because when I was a kid, we used to go on holiday to Cornwall and I used to say, well, I'm going home. I used to actually feel that I was going home. And when I left there, I used to cry because I was saying I was leaving my home. So I've always felt as if Cornwall was, that was the place. Um, eh, Now, Alice Gorgeous says, it just cured an ear infection with I've just cured an ear infection with castor oil. Probably going to die of cancer now. Laugh out loud. Can you shove it in your ear hole then, castor oil? I didn't know you could do that.
I suppose you can if it's on a pipette or something like that.
I know, you know. Um, uh, because my ears are a bit clogged at the moment.
So
That's
again,
probably why I'm shouting. What? Hey, pardon? Well, did you hear
is that
about?
tried?
Did you hear about that? Who's that? Who's that girl that had sex with that president? Oh Christ, what's her name?
Monica Lewinsky
Thanks, mate. Monica Lewinsky.
with Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. That's
Will,
it.
his middle name's Jefferson.
Jefferson.
So his first two initials kind of signify that.
Well, Monica Lewinsky went into a dry cleaners, and the woman who was serving was as deaf as a post. And Monica Lewinsky says, "Excuse me, I'd like this dress cleaned, please." And the woman says, "Come again?" She said, "No, it's mayonnaise."
Very good.
See, follow me for more smutty gags. It says, oh, so he says, castor oil runs straight through you if you drink it. Bloody hell, was it give you the shits? I would give it to a dog with a blockage. I would have thought a sick plunger would have done it for a dog. I think it was Barbara O'Neill. That's it. Don't whatever you do when you see Miles, Aunt Sally, don't mention Barbara O'Neill to Miles. He seems to froth at the mouth and come over a bit like the Incredible Hulk. Barbara O'Neill, that promotes its use. I just don't get why. Yeah, I've got some castor oil, but so if you drink it, it gives you the 2 bob bits.
I
That's
certainly used
interesting.
it as skin block last year. We went down to London for the day and literally just put a spot on each of my arms and just rubbed it in. Didn't burn. That was in 34-degree heat. So it
Really?
works as a sunblock, but it does smell a bit odd.
Don't
You
they
walk
use
around
it as
smelling like a
engine oil?
chippy.
Don't they use it for motor oil?
Well, castor oil.
Yeah, I know there's a
don't know.
Castor brand over here.
There's
Really?
Castrol. We used to have Castrol
Castrol,
GTX,
yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, what's happened to Castrol? I don't think you can get that anymore, do you? I think it's bloody
No, I don't think
expensive
so.
engine oil now. It used to be as cheap as chips, and all it was engine oil. Now oh crumbs! It's a bit like hair shampoos. It's about 20 of you go to Alfred's with us. Our local, it's the place where people buy car bits, and we used to just get one brand of engine oil or two. There's about 20 of them. all different types for different engines and things like that.
Synthetic, blend.
synthetic?
Yeah, high
Yeah.
mileage. All
Yeah.
the different types.
Well, my smart car, that is supposed to have special oil. Was it mobile oil? So I looked up what Castrol GTX was, and I found out that goes all right in it. So I shoved Castrol GTX in it. I thought, right, you bastard, you have that, you know. But no, the thing that's happening here is I think they're getting rid of the older cars because you can't get the they've changed the petrol now where they've got ethanol in it. And you've got E5 and E10, and I think it's E5, which is more expensive because I've got older vehicles. Because if you get E10, it rots all the bloody fuel lines away. It's terrible stuff.
Again, deliberate though, isn't it? Because the
Hmm.
older style cars have got no tech on them, so it's just an engine and some seats, basically.
That's
so,
right.
So it's something you can look after without needing
Yeah,
their system.
precisely.
And I still think that's what this thing in Iran's all about. That
Yeah.
they'll stop the oil coming through to force people to buy electric cars.
I'm positive on that, and I just do not like electric cars. And Alice Gorgeous says, cheeky. What the heck do you need shampoo for, Eric? Well,
Wasn't
I've got marvellous hair. It's just see-through, that's all. I've got a very
Was it-
wide parting.
wasn't it wash and go?
Go, it went. No, it's actually my jeans. I changed from Langus to Reva. No, I went to the doctor the other day and I said, "Excuse me, I've got hang on, I've got genetic diarrhea." Genetic diarrhea? He said, "I've never heard of it." He said, I said, "Look, yeah, it's in my genes." But so you like that one, do you? And Mike Mantis said, "Wash and sod off more like." Yes, mind you, there's an old tramp that's down in the town. And I think instead of having wash and go, he should have go and wash. Right, I got a whiff of him the other day.
We're not supposed to kiss him.
Kiss. I was actually about 6 foot away from him. That was how bad the
What
whiff
did you
was.
blow him a kiss then?
Well, I did go for a tramp in the woods, but the tramp didn't like it very much. But no, I was actually went in Savers store, and he was in Savers store, and he's about, I don't know, 6 foot away. Oh, bloody Nora!
Well, they're selling tramps as well in there.
Yeah, buy a tramp today.
Give us one of your tramps, love, will you? Yeah, which one? This one smells of piss and that one smells of booze. Oh, the piss one will be fine, thanks.
Well, I tell you something though, he was bleeding handy because most of the people in the queue for the checkout buggered off when he got on the end of it. So he shortened the queue. People go, there's people checking the bottom of their shoes, you know. oh, this is genius. Fragrant vagrant. But what gets me when you go to Savers, they always try and sell you some bleeding aftershave. And the girl said, "Well, would you like some aftershave, sir?" I said, "What, do I smell that bad?" She didn't get the
Could have been
joke.
worse. She could have said Old Spice. No, that's cheeky bastard. What do you mean?
Well, no, apparently you got to show that you're over 65 to buy Old Spice, haven't you? My dad bought a great job lot of it. And do you know, when I chucked it away, it leaked into the plastic, bin. And when he lifted up the lid of the bin, 3 weeks after, you could still smell Old Spice and eaten into the plastic. Did you ever get that in? I must have done, Patrick. Old Spice.
Yeah, they still advertise it on commercials.
Do you think that BO smells better than Old Spice?
I don't like deodorant. I'd rather take a shower and take care of it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of the body odor you get, like the under the arm smell, I think comes from things like stress and what you eat. 'Cause, I mean,
I agree.
I'll be honest, without being
It's what you eat that causes
without
that.
being too crude, I don't wear deodorant. I haven't done for about 3 years now,
Oh.
but I don't smell sweaty. It's just, I'm sorry, it's probably a bit of a strange topic, but I don't know if the body gets used to not having to deal, because at the end of the day, we know that the mainstream deodorants cause breast cancers and stuff like that because there's aluminium in them.
Aluminium,
which is
yeah.
dangerous.
I'll tell you what I use, Pit Rock. Have you heard of Pit Rock?
That's aptly named.
Now, what it's for, it's a salt. It's a sort of a salt. You go,
Yeah.
and it's
For your
no,
armpits.
it's all natural, yeah, and it eats the smell away. So he's like, "Hello, how are you?" Bloody hell, you know? But I'll tell you what does give you sweaty armpits, and that is if you wear nylon. Nylon's the worst thing to wear.
yeah.
Oh, because your body can't.
I can't stand that
Oh,
feeling. They get that material, that stretchy material, especially for a shirt.
do you find it's difficult to get all cotton shirts now? They're polycotton, most of the shirts.
Yeah, it is kind of odd. You can't find that. What I do, I like these Russian sailor shirts that they sell that are all pure cotton.
Oh yes, I know the type.
They're the Telnyashka, they call them, with the stripes like the sailors wear, so they can be seen.
How do you know they're sailor shirts? So do they come with
Hello,
a free sailor in them?
Hello, sailor.
Occupy where the sailor would be.
Actually, a Russian army surplus stuff is pretty good. I think you get it in the States, don't you? You can get it over here, Russian army surplus.
I think they do. I mean, you go on eBay, you can get all sorts of stuff.
How's your import business though? Although with the government's
I don't have
closing
any
down.
import business anymore. No.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, Facebook.
Bastards.
I could have made a lot of money on Facebook, but they shut down the account. Can't use it.
Yeah, that's a shame, that is, because it's only pretty good. Anyway, in a couple of minutes' time, we're going to be saying goodbye to Food for Thought Radio, and it catches me out every week, and I think
it
Paul
cuts in really quick.
It does cut in quick, but we still carry on Rumble and YouTube, but we'll be sort of signing off about 11ish, I think, because I'm a bit cream cracker from last night because I didn't go to bed till late.
Yeah.
By
And
the way, have you introduced Fred? Did Fred and Jeremy get an introduction tonight?
Oh, I did get an introduction, yeah. As I pointed out,
you mentioned.
There's Fred and there's Jeremy, and somebody said that I'm ill-treating Fred once, but I think Fred's looking all right, isn't he? Really, he's looking pretty vibrant. Yes, that's banana water.
Are we going to get to a scene at some point where it's like Jumanji? We're not going to be able to see you for plants.
Actually, did you know that spider plants are natural clean the air? And they need to after I've had some sprouts, That's why the thing was laid over it.
Tuning up. And
that's what
here in the groves of Waltham Abbey, we could see just through this clearing here a rare Chris.
Well, if it's nice weather this Wednesday, I'm going to go out with the old camera. Doing the old zooming in. I don't know. I've never done sort of podcasts like that, so it's going to be a first for me. Walking around Waltham Abbey. Have you ever been there at all, Paul? You've been to Waltham Abbey?
I don't think I have. No, I don't think.
You haven't missed much.
Stevenage is probably about as close as I've got there.
Stevenage. My sister lives there.
It doesn't say that on the sign, by the way. Chris's sister lives here.
Chris's sister lives here.
Oh, there's a reason not to go there. Harlow, been to Harlow. That was a shithole.
Oh, Harlow. Bloody hell, Harlow. Did you know it's the drugs capital of southeast England? Seriously,
I didn't get that far. I got off a bus and got straight on the next one back out of it.
Bloody Nora. Oh, did you see Nelson Mandela Avenue?
No, I didn't, because they'd boarded up the windows on the bus.
But you always take something from Harlow with you. And any minute now, we'll say goodbye to, was it Food for Thought Radio? And it should cut in any moment. Oh, no, it's 2
Like
minutes.
2 minutes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it always catches me out. And Paul said he's going to do a countdown to it soon. So hopefully I'll be able to do that, And was it Eric Von Blogger? That's right. Yes. Yes. And I will be attempting to go along the because the Meridian line goes through Waltham Abbey. I'll be attempting to go from the east to the west without any protective equipment. So there we go.
You should check whether if that line links up with the Northeast Corridor I've said before. That
45 seconds, gentlemen.
Thank you. Time, please. Ding, ding. Get your
the
last
show?
points in.
Producer
I think
Paul.
you have. Yes. Hello, Paul. And,
This is an
45
artificial.
seconds.
This is AI, by the way. It's just I just sorted this out earlier today, so it's not me. I'm asleep right now. 30 seconds, gentlemen.
30 seconds.
You sound a lot like Paul English. That's a very, very close
It's good
resemblance.
impersonation, yes.
I've been very well programmed.
Yes, you certainly have.
So I've
You
read.
rocked up last of all, so there we are. We frightened all the
15
guests away.
seconds.
15, here we go. Any minute now, it's coming on. And
10 seconds.
goodbye, Food for Thought Radio. And
Good
we're
night, all.
carrying on
5.
Rumble 4.
3, 2, 1, go.
Here we are.
Book club. Wake up your mind. Move. Fill up your day. Oink, oink. Smart little bites that brighten your way. You're listening to Food for Thought Radio. Here at FFTradio.com. Club Moo, oink.
That's it. So we're still on. We're still going live on YouTube and Rumble, and it's nice to join us, Paul, when we're just ending.
I did.
somewhere.
Well, I did. I didn't want to come in because I've been knackered. Actually, I fell asleep.
Well,
on
I'm
the settee.
knackered.
I was really tired. I did a show with Gary, and then we talked afterwards. It's 8:30. I had not eaten. I ate something, and I just conked out. So I had you on slightly. I was just, and I thought, it's not as if I haven't done lots of shows with you, and I'm always behind the microphone with you. So I thought I'd give somebody else a chance,
That's very kind.
and all that kind of stuff. Not that you're short of good guests and everything. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
That's all.
And you heard all the smut, didn't you? You didn't miss all the smutty
No.
gags, didn't you? No.
No, I missed
by the
all
way-
the smutty gags. Thankfully,
Yes.
I'm an innocent chap. I don't need things like that rolling around in my head. That's terrible.
Well, we've got a nice
Yeah, right.
girlfriend here. Alice Gorgeous says Paul, the professional person. So there we go.
Thanks, Alice.
Thanks, Alice. That's nice.
That's
I'll
nice.
tell you, Eric, for next Sunday, you will get a lead-in song, and you can actually
please do.
talk. You can talk over that thing at the end as well, so you can do lots of shouting as it closes out if you wanted to. I'm just letting you know. So we'll
brilliant.
tidy up these starts and stops
Excellent,
a little bit more,
excellent.
and it'll be
And,
more pro as we go along. It's all going to get wonderfully pro as we keep building and building. So
right.
yeah.
And also the link to the studio. I now understand that. I was a bit thick, and that'll be good. And it's becoming as Mama Cass used to sing. It's getting better, and that was
Yes,
one of
it
the
is.
best songs. Yes, and I think that's a real uplifting song she sung. I used to like that.
You look
actually.
very smart tonight, Eric.
I'm a
you
fart
it's really
smeller.
good.
as my mum
You,
used to
you
say.
are. It's good. You're looking almost secret agency. Yeah, yes. Oh, if you put a serious face on, you look like a Russian thug.
Well,
Kropotkin. This is Kropotkin from the BJ Key or whatever it is. Yeah, you do. You've got that. Yeah, it's if you just you're going to have to practice your extremely dead hard face, which will terrify people in public places.
So if Chris goes into his local cafe tomorrow, he can say, "Make it a cup of tea, shaken, not stirred."
well, I'll let you into a little secret. When I always, when I was a kid, hang on. When I was a little kid, I used to always wanted a racing bike, and I wasn't allowed to have a bike when I was a kid. And so I've made up for it now. And I got a racing bike. My neighbour gave it to me. This was about 10 years ago. And I thought, right. So I went outside and put my glasses on. So, hi, ladies. I'm on my racing bike. Cocked my leg over. Went round the corner. And the lady round the corner went, hello. And I went, oh, hello. And fell arse over tit off of it.
You know, do you remember, as you were saying that, as if it was, do you remember Dave Lee Travis on the radio in the 70s?
I've met him,
and
actually.
he'd read... Well,
I've met him. I've been on his show as well.
Well, you're very famous, Eric. It's all coming out now. But do you remember, he used to read out sort of readers' letters, and it was always sort of romantic, and it was about, now Lily was this. You remember those long stories that you would read out years later, all that kind of stuff. As you started about the bike, I was waiting for some sort of sentimental music to start playing in the background. Eric was a young lad with a bike. All that, you have to do it. It's, a little, an intimate anecdote every week, years ago.
That's it. The hairy cornflake.
Was it Dave Lee Travis used to have the old do, and then he'd read another little passage out, and I think you missed an opportunity.
Well, there was one where I don't know, was him or was it Stu Pot? I think one of the two. And I was, where are they now? That was it. And it was a classic. They said, and this is Mr. and Mrs. Bloggs or whatever it is, and they moved to Bedfordshire. And their neighbours. That was it. That was it. This woman woke in. She said, we lived in Bedfordshire, and we had these neighbours called Mr. and Mrs. Bloggs, and they moved away, and we lost contact, and we found out that they'd moved to Clacton, and we moved to Clacton, and then we lost contact again, and then we found out they moved to Bognor. And we moved to Bognor, and then it seems these people were trying to get away from these people. And every time they moved, they found them and lived near them. And that's what he said. He said, it sounds as if they're trying to get away from you.
But do you not think that was the same with Surprise, Surprise? Remember that with Cilla Black?
Bloody hell, yes.
And the last couple at the end would be, and apparently they moved to Australia. We've bought them back. You can almost picture the people there thinking, for God's sake, we tried to get rid of them. We sent them to, we paid for them to go to Australia, and you bought them back.
The worst was this is your life, And during the war, you were tortured by this terrible, vile torturer, but we've got him here tonight. Oh, it was. I could never. I couldn't stomach This Is Your Life. I used to almost throw up if that came on television. It was so.
Was it Bill Oddie that they had on there, and they went and approached him, and he refused to go on. Then he said, "No, I'm not interested." And
that woman was in Policewoman. What was her name now? Oh crumbs! Angie Dickinson. She refused to go on.
Michael Aspel's still around.
Yeah, he's getting on a bit. But they actually had a Polish fighter pilot on there once, and Michael Aspel said, "Well, what was it like, during war?" He said, "Well, he said we took off in the morning and we was flying along and we saw one Fokker there and we shot at him and then another Fokker came along." And Michael Aspel said, "Yes, well, I must say to the audience, the Fokker is a German aeroplane." He said, "No, there were Messerschmitts that day." Right.
Oh, that's good. I like that one. That's sweet.
But do you remember when that Gary Glitter on there? It's on YouTube now, and they got these schoolgirls coming on. He's going, he's in a state of shock because,
Do you both remember the detectives? Do you remember the detectives?
Yes.
Robert Powell and Jasper Carrott. There was a scene on one of them where they're trying to part of the little thing throughout the episode was they were trying to remember all the names of football teams like Crewe Alexandra and all the end bits. But they find this guy who's been stabbed, and they're talking about this, and this bloke says, "Oh yeah," he says, we like to listen to music from 1,000 years ago," and Robert Powell says, "Oh great," he says, "I love Cliff Richard."
Well, talking about Cliff Richard, my sister, you know, I don't get on with my sister at all. I haven't seen her for 16 years. And she was a Cliff Richard enthusiast. That's why I can't stand Cliff Richard. And I was, when I was in my sort of early teens, I was a bit depressed. I think a girlfriend had walked out on me or something like that. And I was a bit sort of heartbroken. And she said, why don't you go to a Cliff Richard concert? That'll cheer you up. I said, I'd rather have a hole in the head than that. Oh, he's lovely. But I'll never forget that. Why don't you go to a Cliff Richard concert? That'd give me more manic bleeding depression, that would.
Well, don't they put that? Have you seen that song that says "Beware Cliff Face"? They got his picture on it.
I think there's something about Cliff Richard that he's too squeaky clean. But I won't say any more because he's got very good lawyers. But there's something about him I just can't stand, Harry Webb.
Well, you remember, what's his name? That's not much of a clue, is it? Do you remember what's his name?
Yeah, I know you want
T.
about.
Stokes. You remember T. Stokes, Eric?
I not only remember T. Stokes, I actually went to his house. And yes, I knew him very well.
Every time I drop a name now, you've actually personally met. This is twice now.
Yeah.
I've only been on a couple of minutes. I don't know. I better not start talking about Frank Sinatra. You probably met him.
No, I never met him. No. But I've actually,
well.
I knew.
Phew.
I should think he's dead now, but I knew T. Stokes. Yeah.
Yes, don't worry. He is dead. I think he died about 2012 or something.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember his interviews where he talked about Cliff Richard?
I remember the one with Churchill, and you can actually hear that on my channel that I did with him.
Well, Cliff Richard was not playing a straight wicket. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
And they had lots of, and he was exactly, he wasn't, he was just he was one of those.
He hung out with Elton John. Just say it.
Did he?
He's from the Elton John Club.
He batted for the other side.
He did bat for the other team,
Yes.
and he was controlled through it as well because of it and stuff like that. And T. Stokes, was talking about because all this sort of party scene and all this kind of stuff. It's been around for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was a copper that used to live over the road to me. He moved away, and he said that one of his colleagues stopped a car on the embankment many years ago, and when they opened the door. It was 4 blokes dressed as women, and one of them was Cliff Richard. In there,
Yes.
And when the copper said, "Can you give us some information?" and Cliff Richard said, "We don't talk anymore."
Well,
Paul, what is it like in your head? What is it like in
I'm
there?
sorry.
It's
Well,
all right. I quite like it.
I'll tell you something.
I think it's fun.
They certainly put the willies up that copper. Sorry.
Did they?
They probably did.
So what are you doing for outro music, Paul, for Eric?
We've done it.
Richard.
Yeah, what
We've
are you
just
doing for
done it.
outro? No, you did a new one, right?
That is the new one. It's just
Oh, that is the
short.
new
It's just that it's got no prequel. Yeah, it's the one that you sent over, so it's actually copyright fine. All that kind of stuff. You just need a bit of leading bumblesomeness.
Here,
So I
this-
came
this
and
is
did
what
it
I've got
live
for-
tonight, like from the
for exit
producer's
music.
studio. I actually put my bottle of gin down and thought, oh bloody hell, they're finishing the show. I better go and tell them. Time's up, lads. You're about to be kicked out.
Here. This
a bit
is
like a
my Time's
landlord.
Up music. This is my
But,
Time's
yeah.
Up music. Here we go.
But
How about this? Gives you enough time to talk.
is it
All the shows
copyright
about
free
the-
though? I think it is, isn't it?
1933, I'd imagine it is.
Oh yeah, this is the Spike Milligan thing.
Yeah.
It gradually increases in volume toward the end.
That's it.
He's doing it all
Yes.
day long.
This would be a perfect ending for the show.
It's better than any song. So
It would be a good ending for your show, Eric, but it looks
It
like
would be.
Patrick's stolen it. Yeah.
Yes, I thought I heard it.
No.
Let it go.
I'll give it back to you.
Eat more fruit.
Yes, Spike Milligan definitely did this.
Come to stay.
We need more songs like that back in the
Yes.
alternative top 10.
We certainly
We
do.
do.
And by the way,
Yes.
Mike Manchester, any update on John Irwin, Paul?
No, although there will be shortly, because I bumped into my good friend who introduced me to John was in my hometown about 10 days ago. Maybe it's less than that, actually. And I talked about him then. So he'd just seen him about 3 days prior. So I'm hoping to get him on. In fact, if I can get him tomorrow, I might even try and get him on for Thursday. I've got to put... I need to personally have a sort of like half a day a week where I chase down guests, because I'd like to talk to more people, personally. It's not that I don't like talking to everybody that
we're
we do
still
talk
live,
to.
by the way. But we're still
Yes, I
live,
know.
by the way. Yes.
I know. Yeah, I haven't sworn or said anything rude.
No.
or naughty
I just
ever.
thought I'd remind you. But no,
Not
but
yet.
what's happening on Thursday? Who's coming on Thursday?
Well, I'd like to think you might show up, Eric. Other than that, nobody at the moment. I'm just knocking around with the show image. I'm up to my eyeballs in technical doodads with Food for Thought Radio, and it's today I've just felt a bit flat. My battery ran dry. I went, I don't think I can look at a screen for another 8 hours. And I mean, it's so boring, all this stuff, really. Normally I'm quite motivated to do it, but I just hit a point after several days where I go, I think I need to go do something else for a bit, because my brain goes soggy on it. And so that's been no one. The answer is right now, but 3 days is a long time in broadcasting, as you well know.
Well, it is. And I was writing my book. I was writing my book today, and I fell off the bleeding sleep with my head hit the bleeding keyboard. I was so tired, like this. And but hopefully it'll be out in a couple of months' time. The book. Both of them.
Right.
So there we go.
Good.
So
If there's room
that's good.
all on Thursday, obviously depending on how I am with my mum, but if there's room for an anorak on there, I'll be...
Yeah, there will be. I will let you know. I mean, we're sort of talking shop a bit here, aren't we? This is very late night radio now, isn't it? Look, we're well past 11, and it's all getting very intimate and cosy, and which is quite nice, actually. I mean, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get a format where I have a different guest on sort of for each of the 3 hours, if I can do it. I mean, I could do it. I just don't put any time into booking guests in, because I'm just out of time. But
Well,
I'd
I'm a
like
bit
to
like
do
that now.
that.
I
I'd like
mean,
to
I
do it because
found
it works well as a format. It's good.
it does, and people say, "Oh, don't book this guest, that guest," but I've really got to get that done. But the trouble is, there's not enough hours in the day, I find, because you get up, and I'm a bit strict with my book writing, but sometimes I sit on the computer and I'm just about to put 2 words together, and other times I'm just flowing like anything. It just depends on how you are. That's the thing with book writing.
Yes. Writer's block.
One does that, doesn't Larry and all that.
Yes, I go for a walk down to the coast, and I gaze off at the sea, and my thoughts are filled with beauty and visions of tremendous things. And I come back, and then I spend half an hour. Yes, and I spend half an hour in makeup, and then I'm ready to write. Yes, absolutely. One must get dressed for writing. Hey, by the way, have you ever seen a film called The Grand Budapest Hotel? Have you ever seen it?
I know of it. I like the signature. I like the tune to it, though. It's very catchy. That is.
I watched it again yesterday afternoon, I think it was.
Yeah.
I can't
Wes
watch.
Anderson.
It's so, for me, it's so fantastic as a film. It's absolutely brilliant. I daren't watch it too much because I'll wear it out. Because it's the first time I've watched it in 3 years. And I want to watch it again. I can't. It's just too good. I don't know how many more times. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's so fantastically brilliant. Yeah, it's just. And Ralph Fiennes is in it, right? You know, the guy who's in every film ever for the last 10 years. And he plays the lead guy, who is basically like the maitre d' of the Grand Budapest Hotel. And he's absolutely. It's just the most fantastically wacky plot, with all these brilliant actors in it. Willem Dafoe's in it as a thug, and he's absolutely tremendous. He's like this vicious sort of fascist the killer on a motorbike. I can't describe. It's very funny. And it's just so entertaining. It's pure storytelling. He's absolutely brilliant. I love Wes Anderson's stuff. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it on YouTube at all? Because you can get them on YouTube.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it's on.
Alfie's on YouTube now, free.
What, the
With
old
Michael
one
Caine.
with Michael Caine? That one.
Caine, yeah.
Your
And,
favourite actor?
Yeah, Millicent Martin. She's in it as well, and she's still
Yeah.
alive. She's stalking around. And what's it all about, Alfie? And you realise what a crap actor he is, don't you?
Is he still alive, Michael Caine? He must be about
Yeah.
who now?
He's
about
only just
96.
retired. He's 92. Is he? I thought he was about 92. He's just he just did that thing about the guy that escapes from an old people's home for the
That's right.
Dunkirk celebrations, which I haven't seen. I don't mind him. I think he's actually brilliant in The Man Who Would Be King alongside Sean Connery. It's a fantastic film.
I've
think
seen
you
that,
seen
yes.
that?
I think he lost his decency when he started promoting the jibby jabbies. Yeah.
Yeah, and him and Elton John, yeah. Because
Yeah, but we know Elton John likes a little prick.
It is interesting in there, Paul, isn't it? Paul's head, isn't it? Isn't it interesting?
Anyway, when you look out the window on Wednesday, if it's a nice sunny day, I'm going to be filming in Waltham Abbey. If it's not, if it's pissing down the rain, I won't bother. You know.
Is it this one you're doing?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go around the different areas there, you know, and I might split it into two films. I don't know, but the trouble is, it's got to be a nice day, and I want to do it before the tourists get there because they start around about end of May sort of time. It starts to build up all these. Hey George, what's that? Waltham Abbey, you know? Wartham Abbey. That's what the tourists say. It's this Wartham Abbey. No, it's Waltham Abbey actually. No, you know.
Are they French?
Yeah, probably French. Yeah.
There's an American
sorry,
guy who
Patrick.
does a lot of the. There's a guy from the States who does a lot of. He lives here now. He's married to an English lass, and I've forgotten his name, but he does lots of these little shorts of him observing the English, and particularly the default position of sarcasm and irony in all situations, right? It's very good. And he's learning how to do it, and he's really enjoying it. He says it's fantastic, really good. And it's and I thought the reverse thing is I would have to go and live in America. I would imagine it's fascinating to people to get a view of themselves from a different culture, a slightly different perspective, because things that we do, which are just completely, you're totally unconscious of, which are just part, to people from outside, they come in, they go, oh yeah, they like our queuing. You probably don't. We don't even take it for granted, do it. But if somebody steps in a queue.
Oh, bloody hell, it's World War III.
Yeah, see what I mean? Yeah, me too. Anybody. And if if someone doesn't speak out, I will. I'll just get in there. Hey, right? And this took him by surprise. He said, I didn't realise that. He said, they're very polite, unless if you queue jump. That's right. You're not doing that. You get lamped for that. Get to the back.
Don't you queue in America?
The bread line.
Yeah, don't you queue in America, Patrick? Do you just sort of walk in and...
Yeah, we do.
I thought you did queue.
We do, but there's an art to sliding into the queue.
And
Yeah.
what is it about New York? Because New Yorkers don't seem to have polite manners, do they? If they go into a bar, give me this. Not, could I have a pint of beer, please? You know, it's always
Good afternoon, fine sir. What a marvellous day. I say you're looking really rather well.
Tell the manners of a New Yorker from the manners of the mild Midwesterner. Yes. Yeah. The New Yorkers will tell you, they'll give you a piece of their mind whether you like it or not.
That's right. And Parisians are a bit like that as well. Go to Paris, they're miserable bastards as well.
Well, Parisian waiters are reckoned to be the rudest people on the face of the earth.
Bloody rude. They really are rude.
They're always busy smoking and drinking and eyeing up the girls and trying to chat them up, and you're you're a pest for wanting to be served and things like this.
You want a meal? Frogs, eggs, and snails.
I had a fish soup once in France, not in Paris, and you should have this beautiful fish soup. It tasted like piss. It really did. I'm
It
sorry.
probably was.
It was probably. There's a bleeding Englishman outside. Go and piss in this. That's what
There was probably a bucket under the urinal. What can we do with this? Oh, this Englishman, he'll take it. Tell him it is stupid.
But no, actually, I don't really rate French food all that much. I've eaten in France. I just no, it's sort of.
No,
I suppose
Italian
you
food.
pay money. Italian's
You
good,
need
yeah.
Italian food's good.
Yeah. Anyway,
Especially when you're there.
I need to hit the hay. I'm absolutely knackered, and it's 11:20. So I'm going to.
Oh, I'm just getting into this.
That's right.
Oh, it's quite a good view at the moment.
Hang on, Aunt Sally's got a question before we go. What I really want to know is, do Americans really hang up the phone without saying goodbye? They do
Some
in the
do.
movies, anyway. Yes.
Some do. Depends if they're in a hurry.
Yeah. Well, I actually got through. I was phoning up a relative in America once. Got through the wrong number, and I said, "Oh, excuse me, could I speak to Gloria, please?" Wrong number. Bang! Down my phone. We're over here. We say, "Oh, terribly sorry, you had the wrong number." You know.
Well, there's something about Russians and Ukrainians where you call them,
Mm.
they wait for you to say hello. It's just weird.
Really.
Yeah.
That
Before
weird.
they say hello.
Yeah, because
I
the
never got
Ukrainians
used to
and
it.
Russians, while they're fighting each other, they're the same culture. They speak the same bleeding
Russians
language.
fighting Russians is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it, the American Civil War, which wasn't that long ago. Well, really, seriously, there's only a
No, it
couple of
wasn't.
generations back. It was Americans fighting Americans, and it's. Well, look at Germany. I mean, with Europeans fighting Europeans. The thought of fighting Germany nowadays is just unthinkable, and I'm glad it is unthinkable. But anyway, on that lovely
Do you
note,
not think? Sorry, just one quick
sorry,
question on
carry
that.
on, mate. Yeah.
With regards to the telephone thing, do you not think we should all have an answer machine that's got Lionel Richie on it? Where he sings, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?" You can have people on there for hours.
Well, I think a robot. We'll probably get AI robots that'll just answer the phones and conduct wonderful conversations with Aunt Davinia for us quite easily, and then you won't have to speak to her anymore. But I think that'd be a bit of a shame, really. So,
Well, that's
but
right.
yes, that's all
Well,
coming.
Sometimes when I phone Miles up, he does a marvellous impersonation of an answer phone. Hello, sorry, Miles is not here at the moment. Can you kindly sod off? Bang. No, it doesn't. But anyway, so if you look out the window on Wednesday, if it's a nice day, I'll probably be out filming, and if it's pissing down with rain, I won't be out filming. So there we go. Anyway, it's been a great show. Thanks, everyone. And if anybody wants to say anything to the audience before we go,
Just thanks for listening. It's been a great show.
Yeah, and don't drink too much, and drive carefully on the way home.
And remember, 8 o'clock this Thursday on Rumble, it's Paul English Live. So there we go. So tune into that. And whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh. Put the thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't, because it does help the channel. And have a bloody good laugh. And good night.